The Matt Reeves Batman Power Hour. Got a little bit of geek news, but we're going to go through everything and anything revolving around the newest release from DC, The Batman. Let's hit that music. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to the best damn podcast in all of the land. It is Friday Night Phoenix, and this is the Absolute Geek Podcast. And I am Matt. Go ahead, Jay.
I am Jay.
I'm Corbin. I muted myself, but I was trying to step in. I'm Corbin.
Look at this. We got a spinner rack reunion here, boys.
I'm old.
The rack attack.
Yep. Rack attack, baby.
So Max and Lance couldn't be here this week because they're off bromancing together. I guess some docking is going on, a little bit of sounding, some inappropriate things are happening between those two. They're budding bromance. So I brought in the second best podcasters that could fill their shoes that I know in Jay and Corbin. The real A-team. You know, when the A-team's like, listen, I got an interview to do, I can't be here, and Corbin's like, I got to go do whatever Corbin does, trying to back that train into the Corbin station. You got to find people to fill in, but it's good to have the A-team back. So how are you guys doing? How's everything going?
Hey, can't complain on this end, Jay. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm 100%.
Just hyped as Batman right now.
Corbin, long time no see, brother. How have you been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been a second. It's been a minute since I've been on the AGP again. You know, I'm doing okay. You know, I say day by day, but then day by day, and you look up and it's been like 6 months. So,
right.
You know, just trying to keep grinding at it, you know, trying to make it through this craziness that's the world today, and trying to have some fun while doing it. Like you said, the journey in the back and the train up continues, but word on the street, word that I caused is that speed dating will return to Phoenix Fan Fusion. Thank you, Corbin. And so when that happens, you know, I will thank myself by attending. And maybe we'll get some action. I mean, it's not. That's not what I meant. I meant maybe we'll get some interaction.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure you're stoked for Phoenix speed dating. Again,
yeah, easy.
Get out there
first in
and
line.
Yeah, speed date with girls half your age now.
Whoa! Hold up, man. I'm still 20. I'm 26, my guy.
Yeah, but you got to think it's been 2 years since we've had a con. So think of all the like 17, 18-year-old girls that are going to be coming in there now. Corbin's got quite the pool to swim in now. Huh?
No. That pool heck is shallow. You know what?
Swimming amongst guppies.
Moving right along.
Tadpoles.
No. Oh man.
No, since I didn't get invited to Lance and Max's slumber party blowout. Sorry, man. It's a rough life to be. Jay didn't get invited either, and Jay knows Lance. Lance claims that him and Jay are best friends.
False. I claim false.
Oh man,
not true.
Acquaintances at best.
Ooh,
friendly neighbors.
Wants Corbin to know that he's 17.
Okay, well, listen, 17.
I don't know why he wants you to know that, but
I don't know. I'm good, thank you. No, not trying to get in no trouble. I'm a good guy. All right.
Yeah. But what about you, Jay? What have you been doing with yourself?
Nothing much. That's just the daily grind. I've been doing my other podcast, Born Too Late. That's like an interview podcast I do with my friend Josh, and that's about it.
Nice.
Reading comics, watching
go.
Peacemaker, and trying to catch up on Titans still.
Still on that Titans grind, huh?
Yeah, I can only squeeze in a couple episodes here and there. I'm almost there, though. I'm almost there.
What about you, Corbin? Are you a permanent fixture over on Renovision now, or are you just helping out every week?
I kind of coming out every week. You know, we've been kind of just playing it. Showed up once and they welcome me in. I've been popping on, usually free that day, so just kind of happens. Nothing set in stone, but definitely fun. You know, fun to pop on, fun to rank Batman. You know me and Batman. We have a intertwined relationship, almost as deep as myself with DC. So, yeah. You know, just something fun to do.
If you guys want a little bit more content like this show, Wednesday nights, man, check out Marco and Pete and now Corbin over there at the TAC show on Renovision. Great show. Been on a couple times. It's a fun time.
Fun ride.
Gives me
Anti-DC
old
fan.
MCM vibes, like what MCM originally was.
Mm.
So good show, good stuff. What were you say, Jay?
I said Wednesday night, huh?
Wednesday nights, yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing it. I'm trying to take a break once to go play some dodgeball over with Triple D Dodgeball, but it's been rough trying to balance that all out. But you know what? It's been good to ease back in and, try to see what's going on in the comic news,
I hear that you can only play Triple D Dodgeball if you agree that the Batman was a 90% hush or 85% hush.
See, and that's why I haven't been there because I slightly disagree.
Max Bender says waiting for Corbin to defend Gotham by gas.
Oh, let's get to it. Max, this is where I reside. All right. That book is top tier Batman now. It's like number 3. and it's not 2 or 1. No, I'm just kidding. I guess I just said it was. Anyway, it's right up there in the upper echelon. I would defend that with my life.
Well, that's awesome. But the whole thing you needed to defend Gotham by Gaslight tonight. But we are going to do a ranking of the best Batman tonight before we do our review of the Batman. While we got Jay here real quick, once Jay's got to leave to do an interview for his other show, but he's going to come back. We're going to hot tag in Ish from Fantastic Worlds Comics. So he's going to jump in too. But just as we were getting ready to go on the air, I want to get your guys' first fresh thoughts on this. It broke that I Am Legend sequel is in the works with Michael B. Jordan and Will Smith both set to star in the movie.
Why? Like one, I thought he got blown up at the end of the movie. Like I'm pretty sure like the character Will Smith was dead. But even if let's say he wasn't, this was a movie that came out about 15 years ago that was like meh at best.
2007. So yeah.
Wow. So yeah, exactly 15. Look at me. Anyway, you're gonna take a movie that was 15 years old that was okay back then. And thanks, Max. He's gonna reheat it, and for what exactly? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see why you would do that. It's like, hey, let's take over leftovers dinner. I mean, last week's dinner. How was it? It was all right. Let's reheat that bad boy and serve it up again. Like, why? That's my question. And thank you, Max. Good to be back to see you here too.
Well, I think there's a lot more that you can explore in that world because there's that time frame before we meet him in the movie. But I guess you're gonna have to they're gonna figure it out some way.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna do like flashbacks where like Michael B. Jordan's like his younger self and then he's his older self before the events of the movie, or however they do it. But I love this world, but this is a genre that I kind of feel like needs to die, but won't die. I used to be like love The Walking Dead. I still do love it to an aspect. I love the comics. Kind of fallen off in the show, but it just seems like the zombie genre is one of those genres that is still around but needs to die.
Yeah.
I
can agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that with I Am Legend is, I mean, it kind of had like good closure at the end. I mean, the way it ended was pretty defined.
Isn't there 2 endings to that movie though? One where he blows up and then one where he doesn't, isn't there?
I thought he died both times, to be honest with you. But
maybe. I think there's 2 endings to that movie.
Wow.
It's been so long since I've watched it. Like I love that movie, but I haven't watched it at all, like in a long, long time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I remember it. Like I don't really need to watch it. I remember it so well.
That's what I mean. Like
it went out of my head already.
Yeah, if it blew the doors down, then I'd be more like, okay, you know what? I'm tired of us rehashing movies, but what the heck? Like it was a good movie. But like for a movie titled I Am Legend, it was far from legendary. It was pretty ordinary actually, and I just don't see why you need to bring back that movie. And why would Michael B. Jordan attach his name to a movie that really had? I mean, he did Fantastic Four. Why am I even joking? His taste in movies are interesting, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if like maybe it takes place in a different part of the world, and like Michael B. Jordan's character like hears the radio transmissions that he was releasing to meet at like the pier every day at noon, kind of like the woman in the
interesting.
That would be cool. I'll watch it regardless. What am I? I'm kidding.
See, I'm glad you said that you will. I will not, Jay. Nope. I have absolutely no interest.
Like Mandalorian, huh?
Oh man, don't get me on that, Jay. I should have watched that.
I'm calling you out right here.
Wow, flaming me like that. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. But yes, I no interest in that. Mandalorian at least was well received. I doubt this movie's going to be.
My name is Kyle. We're gonna do only live action Batman to kind of stick with the theme of the release of Matt Reeves' Batman today. So, but yeah, that's good. Good way to start. We can get on a little bit of geek news while we got Jay here.
Geek news.
I'm not gonna sit here and read the like geek news.
I'll do it. Just kidding.
Titans season 4. I know you haven't finished season 3 yet. Titans season 4. We got an official episode count. 12 episodes. 12 episodes in season 4 of Titans.
Interesting.
When does it start?
They've not released a start date for it yet. They are currently in production of it. He was asked the director was asked how many episodes are going to be in the season 4 run, and he said 12.
Okay.
Did you see kind of a little bit? I don't think it's spoilers.
You can.
I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait to talk about it when we were talking about the bat. No, it's not a spoiler to you. It shouldn't be a spoiler to you. Did you see that they have the kid who plays Tim Drake in Titans as one of the ghoulies at the beginning of?
Yes, I'm glad you noticed that. Yes, I totally did. I didn't like him as an actor. That's why I remembered. Something about his face.
You didn't like him as an actor.
No, I didn't like his face. I didn't like his whole vibe. And so seeing him in Batman, I'm like, I don't like that kid. Wait a second. I remember that kid. So, yeah, I was hoping Batman would give him the business, but, he didn't. No reason. I'm vengeance. Just go to town on him. That didn't happen. Oh, well. But, good eye, Matt. I thought that was the case. I did recognize that, though, because he was unbearable. All he did was mess around and get shot.
Well, and he didn't really even talk in the Batman, but I was sitting there watching him. I'm like,
it's
not really a spoiler because the scene in the movie is in the trailers.
Yeah,
when
everyone knows it.
Beating the guys down, and I was like, that kid looks familiar. Like I was sitting there the whole time, like he looks so familiar.
Such a stupid face. Yeah,
I was like, is that Tim Drake from Titans? Like that's an interesting casting that you've got Tim Drake from Titans in this movie. I wonder if he filmed the Batman before joining the Titans.
He just basically did what he did in Titans, stand around looking scared. Like,
yeah,
he didn't really do it. I'm sorry, I just don't like the guy. I have no reson not to like the guy. I just didn't like the guy.
Hey, I don't blame you here. Get nothing from me on that one. Next we get Disney Plus news. All of the Netflix shows, the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and the Defenders. All seasons of those have left Netflix. Will be appearing on Disney Plus as of March 16th. They're going to be, from what I'm hearing, they're going to be completely intact. They're not going to be edited down. The violence and stuff will still be there. It's just they're going to also roll out new filters, kind of like what Netflix has, where you can put a password code on certain rated material. So they're probably going to they're going to change their ratings for material and then start releasing more parental guidance settings for this stuff. So it's good to see that Disney's bringing them over to Disney Plus.
It's interesting. Jessica Jones was pretty disturbing, if I remember right.
The first season, especially.
Yeah.
With the emotional abusive undertones from Purple Man, and that was one of the things that people were saying. Like, if you're gonna bring this to Disney Plus, you got to change Purple Man. Like, you almost got to edit out everything with Purple Man in it. I was like, you can't do that. Like,
you can't do that.
It's power set, but you can, put a disclaimer beforehand. And
exactly.
So yeah, you'd have to do.
They're doing it the right way. They're doing it the way it's supposed to be done. I'm glad that they are. It's content that's Marvel. Disney owns that. Like, make it happen. It'd be ridiculous to have to find that somewhere else. It was ridiculous. It was on Netflix. I know that's the deal. For as long as it was, like, Disney's not all. I'm sorry, if you want to expand your property and be all things to all people, you need adult content. Like, that's what you're going to have. And listen, this is a start by bringing stuff that you didn't really have a hand directly in making, but it's under your umbrella, and just making sure the additional rules in place. Then yeah, just because you're Disney doesn't mean like it's just for kids. That's not what they want it to mean, obviously. So I'm all for it. Being able to finally have the continuity of watching Daredevil with Kingpin, and then also, watching, I can't remember the name now. Hawkeye. There we go. It's there.
Did you like Hawkeye?
I did. I don't know why it was blanking. It was blank in my head. I kept thinking Ronin. I was going to say Ronin, but I did like Hawkeye. I thought it was really good. I liked the mix. Again, it was a nice mix of tone between having a lighthearted Christmas type show, little deeper undertones with, the Black Widow, with the Kingpin. And I thought it was very enjoyable. So this is a further addition to that universe by bringing in these pre-existing Marvel shows, not Iron Fist, just forget that. And then seeing how that all comes together.
Yeah. Punisher. I like Punisher. I like the first season of Daredevil. I like the first season of Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
The Jessica Jones ones were okay, but that's about it.
Let's talk about that for a moment. You're both comic book readers. What do you guys think of the Punisher's new logo and their decision to change that logo based on the way law enforcement and the community is using it to try to fit their narrative?
Well, before I need to go, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Before I go, I want to leave you with
Perfect time to leave.
So I was driving, and in my area of town, it's kind of rural. So, but I saw something I've never seen before. I saw a Punisher logo sticker on the back of this, I don't know, this giant pickup truck, but it had like Trump hair.
I've seen a few of those. Yeah.
I've
seen a few of those.
Mean exactly?
I don't.
Does that mean it's a supporter of?
Or Trump is the Punisher, or
is that what that's supposed to mean?
I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a nuanced look at this. Like, first off, Jay, yeah, I've seen a few of those. You're right. It's confusing at best. I'm not really sure what, I know what message they're trying to portray, but it's really not being portrayed the way they think it's being portrayed. But like, I am not a fan of the new Punisher logo.
But it's not going to stay, right? It's just a temporary thing for that arc. I hear.
No, I think it's from what I'm hearing, it's here to stay, because
from what I've heard as well,
Marvel is saying that the Punisher logo. They're tired of people using their trademark property in a way that allows them to use it to fit their narrative.
So just bend over and let them have
whatever the world may be. If they're using that logo for it to fit their narrative, and now it's to the point where that logo is associated with these groups. So we're going to change the logo. That's going to be his new logo.
Oh man.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the fact that he's just using knives, which is something else that's also a thing. Like, here's my thing. I also don't like seeing comic book properties that are clearly for storytelling being twisted to serve stuff that does not fall under that umbrella. So I've never been a fan, but that's in anything. I've never been a fan of anything be appropriated for anything bigger than what it is. It's a story. That's what comics are. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not a broader narrative. It can reflect stuff that's happening in real life, but you don't take the comics and say, oh, this is what it is, because it's just a bad light, quite frankly. It just is. I haven't, like, anyone with those, I haven't personally enjoyed that being used by someone. It's like either A, you don't understand the comics or anything, because the Punisher's equal opportunity if you actually read the books. But they're not reading the books. They're just appropriating it. So fine. That's one thing. That being said, you stick to what you're doing. If somebody were to take the Batman symbol and make it something different, we change that. Will we do it for Superman too? Let's say Biden went as Superman. God help us. Whatever the case may be. Like, would we then go and change? Oh, it's only temporary for the run. Thank you.
Well, that's what Zaggy's saying, but I have read where Marvel has changed.
I had read as well and thought it was more permanent. Yeah, I'll take that if you know. But from what I'd read, it was a permanent move. And it's kind of lame looking. But like, also, you can't change. We have 40 years of continuity on this guy. Like, we have 40 years of continuity on this character. These stories have been established. His style has been established. You have great runs. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon. Like, you've had a lot of good stuff with that to all of a sudden make this, in my mind, an abrupt and unnecessary change. Like, you got to deal with it. You want to sue everyone that's doing it? Do that. People lose some money, then all of a sudden they get a different message. But to take it this way, I'm not a fan of it personally. I get it. I understand what Disney's doing, but it just seems like such a cop-out, and you're changing the very essence of a character. You went from a Punisher with a deep, nuanced, layered origin to now just another guy, same origin, but doesn't mean a lot because now he's just using knives and wearing what? I don't know. I'm gonna ramble. I don't like it.
I liked it when his belt formed the teeth.
That was fine too. Yeah, that was dope
anyway,
too.
I'm gonna go. Do you want me to come back later? Like,
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you guys.
All right,
Good to see you.
Hey, Jay.
So,
But
yeah.
I mean that's a good way to look at it. I didn't watch the Netflix Punisher series. It's like one that it kind of came out around the end of the time where like these shows fell off for me, or I fell off of these shows.
Oh, you didn't watch either season?
No.
You would have enjoyed season 1. Season 2 was okay.
I didn't watch season. I don't think I watched season 2 of Jessica Jones either. And I can't remember how many Iron Fist seasons were there? 1 or 2?
Regrettably, I think there were 2.
2. Yeah, I think I did watch the second season of Iron Fist. That's right, because it left off with what's her face being like the new Iron Fist, right?
Yeah, it was pretty lame. Yeah, So I recommend watching The Punisher. That's actually the one series I rewatch when I go over to Netflix. Well, now Disney Plus. Like the way that the character was done, it was just really, really well done. I wasn't a big fan of the way Jigsaw looked, but aside from that, like the storytelling, who he is, what he does, it's almost like reading some of the early Garth Ennis stuff, just a little bit in terms of the Punisher character.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll see. Everyone who didn't get it to watch on Netflix, now you get your chance to be introduced to these characters, and go see Charlie Cox and Daredevil. Because let's be honest, like I wasn't a big fan of the first season of Luke Cage. So to me, like the 3 seasons of Daredevil and 3 seasons of Jessica Jones, or the Jessica Jones first season at least, is really what's worth watching. Stick Boy.
Hey, what's up, Stick Boy?
Stick Boy, if you saw the Batman, shoot me a message and I'll send you a link to come on, man. You can come and join the fun. Our next story tonight in Geek News actually has to do with Robert Pattinson. And Robert Pattinson has admitted that he has gone online and has started arguing with haters of the Batman on message boards or posts. You would think that being an actor, you would want to not engage. Damn it, Stick Boy, that's disappointing. You would not want to engage that medium or that like blowback. But
part of me thinks so, but then also think about it this way: if I did, something public, a piece of work, whether it was a review or a YouTube video or something of the sort, and I post it, and I'm getting critical, feedback, I'm gonna defend what I did.
Yeah.
Like maybe, Pattinson had time for it today. He's been dealing with all this noise before the movie for years about, what kind of movie it was going to be, what kind of Batman he was going to be. You deal with all that leading up to it. You deal with all that now. So now, no, clap back. Why not?
Leftover Zaggy says, I want to argue with him. And then Stick Boy says, leave fighting trolls to dwarves, hobbits, and wizards.
Oh, he most certainly should. I'm hoping that Jared Leto does the same thing when Morbius comes out in April 1st, 2028.
Well, I think the way I think he's kind of got to do it though, but because the way he was portrayed when it was like, okay, so it was announced that he was taking over this role, and then like it came out, he had the whole like, I don't work out thing come out, and then I don't want to do fight scenes, and then the whole narrative a few weeks ago of, well, I didn't know Batman was a detective. It's like you gotta come back and clap back at your performance a little bit to say to set the record straight, especially when like everything that's coming out of you is being spinned negatively. But
yeah, like I said, I agree. I think that it's fine. I mean, for the most part,
he's probably fighting Kyle.
Oh boy,
now, come at me, bro.
Yeah, I think.
Hi, Corbin.
Hey, no, I think that you're right. I think that it just comes to a point where, yeah, why not? Like, if you've been doing this the entire time, I'd say one thing. If the movie had bombed catastrophically, I'd say another thing. But in this case, yeah, you have a right to defend yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't see, like, I can see some of the criticism he's getting, but like, we'll get into it when we review the movie. But I really liked his performance, and I really liked him as Batman. Like, I can't wait to see more. And I don't know. Don't even give those people the time of day, I guess, and just let your haters be your motivators for the next time around. But I guess you can sit there and clap back if you want. You're Robert Pattinson. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, you got time for it. You got time for it.
But next topic, Stan Lee. We haven't had any Stan Lee news for a while
Since he
he's
died.
not out there. Yeah. Damn.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Fucking
My
grim.
bad.
We haven't had Stan Lee news in a while. Yeah, because he's died.
I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. I'm sorry.
I'd say because he's not around groping women and getting charged for that anymore. But Avengers Campus in California has added a nice little memoriam to Stan Lee, a nice little plaque outside of Avengers Campus in honor of the late great Marvel legend. The plaque contains the same quote that was used in the dictation for Stan Lee and Into the Spider-Verse that says, "That person who helps others simply because it should be or must be done and because it's the right thing to do is indeed without a doubt a real superhero." So it's nice that he's getting that little bit of love at Avengers Campus along the way.
Absolutely.
The way it should be, but R.I.P. Stan Lee. Damn, Corbin.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Grim. It's all good.
It was a little off, yeah.
Next thing, Amazing Spider-Man 900 is going to hit store shelves in June of 2022. Can you believe we're already at 9? We're getting ready for 900 issues of Spider-Man.
Well, that's wild.
Reboot.
What's up, Solo? Yeah, that's crazy.
Corbin, what a big daddy.
hey. No, I'm actually shocked. That's wild. 900
issues. It's going to be right up there with Detective Comics, and Action Comics are already well into the thousands. But
yeah, I mean, but the fact that it's been around, first one came out 62, so 50 years, 900, it makes sense. I mean, it's just, you don't think of it as being around that long, but then you think about the stories and all the years and the movie iterations and everything, and yeah, it has to be. That's what a milestone. I hope the story is good and does it justice. But congrats. I mean, it's enthralled readers for 50 years now, and to many more.
Yeah, I'm excited as a weekly Spider-Man reader because that is a weekly title now. But I'm really enjoying the Beyond stuff they got going on right now with Ben Reilly. I'm excited to see what the next team taking over on Spider-Man does with it. It's the Amazing Spider. What? Wait, is it Spider-Man or the Amazing Spider Stud?
Oh, good one. Probably Man for this iteration. I mean, I haven't watched. Maybe Matt knows better. I haven't read recently Spider-Man, but I would say Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's always going to be the Amazing Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider clone, the Amazing Spider Ben Reilly. But our Stan's handler is still making his corpse sign autographs. Oh, that's good.
Damn.
Maybe. Yeah, we always joke that how much would the money be like if he died mid signing your book? How much money would that book be? Like Stan Lee's death book.
That'd be pretty. Yeah, like the last one he did. That'd be pretty. Wow. I mean, dang, it's just grim thinking about it, but yeah.
Which title got to be ASM is what I mean.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it is Amazing Spider-Man. But yeah. Next up, that's it. Before we get to our Batman review, I was hoping Ish would be here now. It's kind of flying through things. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about this week.
Yeah,
it's all
after the Batman. The news was kind of
it's all been kind of centered around everything going on with the Batman and the release of the Batman and what people are thinking about that. I guess there's stuff that Hulu is working on, an Alien movie. So that's pretty interesting.
I feel like aliens should go where the zombies are, away.
Right. Alien and Predator. Ish said he'll be here in 2 minutes.
Okie.
Solo says you can talk about me. I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah. It's been a minute seeing Solo,
I'm surprised he's not off trying to buy every single book that Brian's selling on Whatnot tonight.
Oh,
that's usually where I see where I see Solo Wookie nowadays is skimming whatnot. So
I've been such an old person. Usually I'm asleep around this time.
you're asleep around 8 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yeah, man, nothing going on here.
Corbett,
Nothing.
how are you getting dates if you're asleep at 8
Well,
o'clock on a Friday night?
There's your answer. I'm not. Nah. I haven't been. I don't know. You're right. It's been weird. Go out for some trivia nights once in a while. Do some,
Nice. I hear you've been a very busy guy. So
still cranking on the basketball pod. Still trying to do stuff there. It's. I don't even like to say busy. I feel bad saying that because I'm not really. I'm doing just work. Like, oh yeah, I'm busy because I'm doing things. But you're the one with the newborn.
yeah,
Like, I'm not holding a candle next to you. I don't even know how you still function. Excuse me. With how has that been being a dad and dealing with the late nights and the little sleep and the changing diapers and.
I mean, it's been fun. It's rough, but rewarding at the same time. Like there's days where I'm at my wit's end. Like it hasn't affected my comic book buying at all, but like my comic book reading it has. Like, I'm buying books, but I'm not like it takes me a couple days to get to them now. It's because it's like I get off work, I'm dealing with her, do her routine, get her to bed, and then I'm like dog tired.
The energy to keep her, yeah. Do they really grow up so fast?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was 7 weeks old yesterday, man. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Wow.
She's gonna be 2 months old in a week, so it's like, all right, here we go. But
yeah, wow. Are you settling into like a rhythm though? You think?
Yeah, we're getting her under control, and where she's actually sleeping a good amount of the night. But it's been, it's a testament, man. Like it's definitely rewarding, but it's hard. I've relied a lot on people like Kyle and Tim, or well, not Tim, but like Lance Kirby and some old listeners of the show, Stumbling Jedi, people who are having kids are already and getting that unsolicited or solicited parenting advice. So
there you go. Yeah, I love it. Everyone's that gotta be fun. Well, that's cool. When
am I gonna grow up? LOL. I never, dude. I've got Peter Pan syndrome. I'm never gonna grow up.
Yeah, I can still see with that same face at like 53.
Yep.
Which, think about, your daughter will be like what, 19?
Yep. It's crazy.
It's gonna be wild.
But it's fun, man, and I can't wait to like introduce her into this fandom. And I've already got a nice little comic book collection going for her, and
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, so I'm excited to take her to cons. And
is she going to this year's?
I don't know. She'll be 5 months old.
Probably
6
not.
months old then. I might take her for a day, depending on, like, the whole world's like, oh, we beat COVID now all of a sudden. So I guess it just depends on that situation, and how that's going to handle. But I don't know. I might.
Are you going?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go to Phoenix for a couple days. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go every day, but I'm going to go do some digging, see if I can find some decent priced books, because I'm trying to keep my Spider-Man run going, and it seems like every time there's books I need, they become hot, so then they become like ungodly to try to get.
I get you. You gotta get ahead of the curve.
So, when's the next kid coming?
Great question.
Not for a while, Max. That's for sure. I don't need
holiday season.
It's more like, when's Corbin's kids coming?
Never. I've too many people have kids. I'm good.
You're not gonna be a kid guy.
I'm not interested in it. No, I think that like it's great to have children out there. I'm the oldest of 6. I still help my little brothers out. Yeah, I have no interest. I have absolutely no interest. I don't have a comic collection for any future offspring. That comic collection will still be mine. They're gonna have to go out there and get their own, like I did. No shortcuts in this biz. Be like, oh, Matt, whatever. What's your daughter's name?
Logan.
Logan's dad got him a nice collection. I'll be like, yeah, and that's cool, but I'm not. I'm gonna do like I'm doing.
Like Wolverine, man, Logan.
Nah, you gotta go out there on your own. Weapon X.
Funny, so I did try to pimp you out to one of Aaron's friends, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I appreciate the love there, sir.
One of her friends was talking about a guy, like on Valentine's Day, a guy she was seeing when she was living in California, and I was like, I got a great guy for her. His name's Corbin.
Oh man, I appreciate the looking out, man. Oh
He's a
boy,
good guy. He's a good looking man.
I thank you for that. Oh boy,
In his free time, is not at the comic book shop. He's dunking on scrubs at the basketball yard.
do what I gotta do there. I gotta make it happen. On the basketball yard, I'm vengeance.
You're vengeance. Buy Matt some Sex Panther cologne. Hurry up, right?
No.
Was it
75%
of the time it works every time?
There it is.
But yeah, it's been fun, man. Like, it's definitely an experience with all that, and like hoping she's into this kind of stuff and she enjoys it as much as I do, or even if she doesn't. But I'm definitely gonna expose her to it and see what happens. I said,
no, absolutely.
I said that you're my inspiration. You're my inspiration to raise a good-looking young woman who's into this stuff.
Well, thank you.
For single guys that are into this, who are looking for that comic book reading girl, that unicorn. If you say
you're gonna make that happen.
I'm gonna make a unicorn. I'm gonna make a unicorn just for people like you, Corbin.
There you go. I appreciate that. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's such a rare thing.
Just for that little boy out there who's like, I want to find a girlfriend or wife that's into comics. I'll be like, I've got your back, bro. I'm trying.
Yeah, it is. And we'll know that you did that with that in mind, man.
I'm working
that's
out.
The realest type friend there is. I'm gonna make a daughter for a future you.
I'm just saying, man, for the future generations of Corbins out there who are into comics and want to find a girl that's like that, I'm trying to help you out.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
Will it work? I don't know.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
I
think the passion and love that you'll have for it will rub off. I mean, that's how basketball worked with me. Comics was kind of my own thing, but like basketball for me was more like that. Like it was something that my family had a passion for, and then I kind of picked up.
Nice. Well, I can stop stalling now.
There we go. Ish.
Hey, what's happening, Corbin?
What is good, sir? How are you?
Good. How you been?
Man, I'm doing okay. I say day by day, but then next thing you know, it's been months,
Yeah. Meanwhile, I caught you playing dodgeball.
Oh.
Live online.
Oh, man. I'm just living, man. I'm just kind of going through the motions here, but yeah, Triple D, baby. No.
Right on. How's it going, Matt?
Good. How are you, Ish?
Good. Hey, just to interject, were you saying you wanted to take Logan to Phoenix Fan Fusion?
I was thinking about it, yeah.
Fatherly advice. Scratch the idea.
Yeah.
You're gonna be miserable.
I thought about doing it like one day.
They're not gonna see anything. Trust me. It's those ideas sound amazing. I want to do the same. I want to take my kid to everything. But it's like, no.
Are you going
to Fan Fusion? Actually, we're gonna have a booth there, but while the booth is there, I gotta man the store.
Oh wow. So you won't be there at all.
Yeah, so I always kind of miss out on these events.
Damn.
We're also doing I'll announce it right here, Old Man Con 4 on Saturday, April 9th.
Ooh.
April 9th.
Saturday, April 9th, aka Scottsdale Comic Con. So anyone who knows it, it's in the same place it's been the last 4 times.
Okay, April 9th. Thank you for announcing. Let me put that on my.
And I won't be at that one either because I got to man the shop.
Wow, dang it! One day I'll run into you at a con. I feel like I've done it once, but one day I'll have it again.
Con 1, probably.
Yeah, with the first one.
Maybe. Yeah, I think I haven't been there since the first one. I might have went to the other one actually. But okay, April 9th.
I've got tickets to San Diego from 2 years ago when COVID hit and they pushed like everyone's tickets. So I was like, ooh, San Diego, maybe I'll take her there for a day. And now you got me a little worried about that too. Like,
dude, because you do it, you're gonna have to go prepared. You're gonna have to take fucking everything with you.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're there, you're gonna be like, I can't do anything.
But like that's like San Diego is one of those like I'm there and I want to be there all day. And like maybe it's a good reason she's a good excuse to take for a little while and then leave. So I don't have to be there all day, but I don't know.
That would be the excuse.
Maybe I'll rethink
between diaper changes or it's nap time or she's just going, nope, I'm done,
Yeah. Bring a nanny. I wish I could find a nanny. But
I mean, for part of your collection, I'll volunteer. No, I'm kidding. I will volunteer for part of Logan's collection. What? Yeah, listen. Yep, she grew up. She'll understand.
You don't want Logan to smell like a convention.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah,
You got to start him young, right? Everyone says you got to.
All of us weirdos.
They say you got to start them young, so why not get her in there and
make it happen?
Yeah, make it happen.
Make it do what it do.
Get her used to the nerd smell right now, the smell of BO and sadness.
At least wait till she's like cognizant of what she's seeing and hearing.
Ooh, I gotta bring my cup. Do they have what's it called there? That one beer, that root beer thing?
The Wild Bills? They might.
Yep.
I don't know.
Been holding my cup for 3 years.
So far though, like there's not a lot of announcements that are like catching my eye. Like to me, it's now like I want to go just for the camaraderie to see people I haven't seen in 2 years, just to go to a con. At this point, you know,
that's what I'm doing it for. Mine is like in order. It's for panels, like to meet comic creators and all of that. Then it's to like run into people I haven't seen in a while. Then it's probably for speed dating, and then that's it. Like that is in order. Like I'm really obviously the comics, but I'm not really there for collecting as much as I'm there just for buying books I want to reread and stuff like that. You know, so yeah, it's the experience for me. But I'm with you on that. Like it's been a chunk. It's been 3 years. It's been a minute, you know, so I'm just kind of like, wow, you know.
Before we get into the ranking the Batman and reviewing the movie, I want to talk to Ish about something real quick. Ish, you working at Fantastic Worlds Comics, have you noticed a big change in like the effect the speculators are having on the comic book industry right now?
Yeah, I'd say to a certain degree. Like, are you talking relatives in terms of sales?
Well, no, I'll give you an example. So this past Wednesday, did anything of significance importance come out this last Wednesday? Do you think?
Of crazy significance?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends, I guess, if you think the new Doctor Strange #1 featuring a whole new Doctor Strange is significant or not.
Okay. So
I don't know. That's a tough question for me to answer because it's you know the Spider-Man's the big book. So to me, yeah, that's a significant book whenever that comes out. But you're talking about like a key first appearance.
Yeah, like key first appearance. It's going to be hot that people are going to like go crazy on selling on whatnot. Like something like the Flipside guys would push or
sure.
Talk about
Black Panther 3. That was one, and even still today, we still have people calling, "Hey, do you have Black Panther 3?" I'm like, I don't think anybody has Black Panther 3. Like that sold out the day it came out because of heavy speculation.
Well, I asked it because like I haven't really seen a big effect of like being a Wednesday warrior going in every week. I haven't really seen effect of that until this past Wednesday.
Okay,
so
what was it?
My local shop opens up at 9:00 in the morning, so I'm usually one of the first people there because I go on my break from lunch, working from home. I can just drive down there. I go there, and I kid you not, there's a line outside waiting for the shop to open. So I get in there, and there's 30 people, and usually going first thing in the morning, it's all the same people you normally see, all the same people.
Sure.
30 people I've never seen before.
Okay.
All standing here against the new release wall. Key collector pulled up on their phones.
Okay.
Grabbing books. And they're talking about like like you were saying, the Doctor Strange, the Clea's Doctor Strange is going to be a $500 book. The first appearance of the Punisher's new logo is going to be a massive book. Got to get that, And this guy's pulling 1 in 25.
So they're grabbing a bunch of stuff then.
Yeah, they're like, but it was like everything that's on the like keys this week list from key collectors. So like Moon Knight, grabbing 1 in 25s, and they're like talking amongst each other about like how much money they're gonna get for this, selling it online and reselling it and stuff. And then this one girl's girlfriend goes, "Get Spider-Man. Spider-Man sells really good. Everyone wants to buy Spider-Man. Pick up Spider-Man, right?" And I'm just laughing to myself. It's like, and the store owner comes back to me because I'm there all the time, and he's like, did I miss something? Did anything of significance come out this week? Because I've never seen this many people in my store as soon as we open. And I was just laughing. I was like, not that I know of, but like every single one of them is on Key Collector because they've all got their phones like this, and I'm like walking past, looking at their phones as I'm grabbing books, and all of them have Key Collector pulled up. And that's like the first time I've kind of like seen it.
Any
in
chance
person.
it has to do with the Batman movie that just spurred a bunch of people to? I
I
gotta get
could.
comics now.
Yeah, I just think I think people are seeing like the numbers people are reselling books for online, and it's just having a massive effect now.
Yeah, I don't know why this week in particular, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Leftover Saggy says they all have FOMO and think they're cool. That could be it. One kid did have a top knot, and that's a pretty cool haircut. But I'm just saying, like, Zaggy said, Strange Academy second print, Avengers 3 first female Moon Knight. Okay. So there's some good stuff, it looks like, but I just was shocked that many people are at the store at 9 a.m.
yeah, I guess I don't know
ready
what to
buy
say.
books.
We didn't kind of see anything like that to that degree. We just have a regular, speculators that always come and
Yeah.
they know what to buy and they'll get multiple copies of, and
Yeah. Well, like,
we try to be prepared for that. But for sudden rush, hey, I'll take it. I'm sure,
right.
sure Ken was loving it. Business is business.
Oh, I don't shop at his store.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, not his store. But not that I have anything against the store. He's just far away from me. I just go right down the street. So, Surprise Comics is right down the street from me.
Surprise.
So.
Okay. All right.
Shout out to all the comic stores, though. They're all dope.
Heck yeah.
Most.
They are all dope.
We got so many good ones in the Valley.
We do.
We
We
got a
really
lot.
do. Yeah.
Corbin,
Actually,
have you been to the new Atomic Comics yet?
supposed to go tomorrow, actually.
Not been to that shop yet.
Because I've not. I'm supposed to go tomorrow. I've not been to Atomic. I haven't been. That's one thing I've been slacking on. I haven't been to comic shops in a minute. So tomorrow I'm going to run to a few. That'll be cool.
Corbin, you haven't been to my shop in like 2 years.
Actually, okay.
He got the big deal from you guys.
Trip you right now.
You
got
are.
the big
dirty
score
Batman
from
book.
I know. I remember that. No, I came. Okay, so it hasn't been over a year, but I
I know,
did
you
come
live
one
far
day.
away. I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, it's no. I know, but I still have wanted to. No, I did come once, but I don't think you were in.
Yeah,
But
it was
this was-
on Saturday and I wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. And this would have been like a year and some change. It's still been a while.
By the way, you remember the Fancy Wendy's?
Yes.
They closed.
What?
Yeah. I drove by the other day and I was like, oh, it was all like,
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd always wanted to go there. I had a day planned out to like go to your shop, take all the time I want, peruse and everything, buy a couple books, go eat a nice burger, and then go home. And now I can only do half of that. That's what you get for, messing up and not going out. Wow.
One thing about our shop is we're actually surrounded by some really amazing, like 2 doors down, there's Hero Sushi. And I've had some people say it's one of the best in the world. People say it's the best in the state, the best in town.
Wow.
People from Japan was like, oh, that's one of the best Japanese restaurants. So that's just like 2 doors down from us. Across the street, we got Red House Chinese, which I think is like the best Chinese place in the Valley. And then there's Yo Polly's Pizza, Andreoli's Italian. So anyone who comes to the shop, you want to grab something to eat too, we got some amazing places right in our intersection.
Okay. I'm going to have to know
Central
there.
Scottsdale. I'm repping Central Scottsdale.
Yeah.
There it is.
You got some awesome back issues too. You guys always post a book online.
Good deals, good negotiating.
We just bought like 100
You're like, God, I
slabs.
want those. Oh.
And just like some good stuff. A lot of them like really good deals, good grab for $50-$60, and then some real nice ones too.
I'm like, there's days you're posting stuff online. I was like, I want that book. I should drive up there. Then I was like, should I call in work to drive up there? No, probably not. But all right, let's get into. I specifically reached out to Corbin for this because I know you got to go. You got to go to the with the Batman, right? You go to your Batman aficionado, and I'm glad that Ishit's here too because big movie guy. So
I'm not the aficionado that Corbin is. I'm not going to pretend.
no,
I'll say for the movies, I probably am. But as far as
got
the books,
this.
you probably read way more than I have.
No.
And I've read
we're
a
gonna do
lot
our
of them.
breaking of the Batman live action movies only, and I did throw Justice League in there as just kind of a nod because it is very Batman heavy. He's the whole reason they're there, so I figured I'd give it a little special nod.
Are we including Batman the movie?
Which one? The Adam West one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good.
Wow.
Well, we can start with that one.
So I was thinking
Batman.
there's 12 movies with Batman now, right? including
Yes.
if you count Mask of the Phantasm, because that was a theatrical release.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't counting that. I'm only counting live action for this.
Oh, you're not counting theatrical releases.
No,
Well,
I'm not
if
counting.
I decide to count that because I'm counting Into the Spider-Verse as a Spider-Man movie, animated or not.
I would.
So if I'm doing that,
counting
I gotta
animated.
count Phantasm too. Then,
All
and
right.
that's,
Well,
and that's Conroy's moment to shine.
I see. I didn't want to go animated. I wasn't trying to keep it
Okay,
live action,
fair
but
enough.
I'll give you Mask of the Phantasm, and I'll let you two decide where it goes. I don't have a slide for it, but I'll let you decide where that goes.
Okay,
we're
it's
doing
average
rankings,
will.
huh? S tier, A tier, B, C, or D. And of course the chat can chime in, and the chat has a voice too. So whatever the overall consensus of the chat is could affect or help a movie as far as where we put it. So I'll let you two start with Mask of the Phantasm, and we'll just give it an honorable mention of where you think it goes.
That's like the holy grail for me. I don't know where Ish falls on it. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, man. But in terms of like a clearly defined origin for Batman that is understated yet effective, a really solid antagonist with ties to his past, giving us a reason to go back to the flashbacks. The way the Joker was portrayed, of course, Mark Hamill did an amazing job. Everything about that movie is quintessential
Danny
Batman
Elfman
to me.
score.
Oh, it was amazing. You said exactly. Both the beginning and end too. You're right, of like the orchestra coming in and building up. There was so much right about that movie. It's perfect to me. I mean, yeah, I've watched it multiple times to make sure it wasn't just nostalgia or, but no, if you were looking for a Batman movie that has everything the Batman does, they even did, and I love the way that this new Batman movie did, they even did a Bruce Wayne Batman discovering how to inspire fear out of his opposition while still being kind of a rookie and being effective yet clumsy, a balance that I think this newest movie kind of achieved. But that's saying a lot for Mask of the Phantasm. So I would put that S tier. What do you think, Vish?
I mean, I agree. It's a very, very solid movie.
All on it.
S tier on Mask of the Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what does S tier mean.
Like it's like the top
Super.
of the top. Like you can't get much better than.
Because I know with me and Corbin, this might go straight downhill after that as far as what we're gonna do.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I'm intrigued to see where this goes from here because I do have. You might be surprised. I've softened some on some original thoughts I had.
Okay. And it's hard to rank Batman movies because I like them all. So it's like whatever I'm gonna rank dead last, it's still a movie I probably really like and would rather watch than many other movies. So it's tough.
Yeah, I get that.
So all right, we'll start with the original. We'll go with the Batman, Adam West, spectacular, shark repellent, and some days you just can't get rid of a bomb and all.
Fun movie, but not a very good movie.
I agree.
Where would you rank it? C, D?
I put more in the C range. I mean, honestly, C because it was trying to stay in this campy tone, but it really wasn't a good movie. I don't think it aged terribly well.
It's a bad B movie, so yeah, C. Give it a C.
I'll go C. I like the nostalgia factor behind it, and it's fun to watch because it's kind of still like Adam West at his prime
and it did kind
of
of
Batman,
create,
and
the whole shark thing. To this
Yeah.
day, that's
shark
so
repellent,
memeable.
and some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. Running around with a giant bomb over your head, not gonna kill some ducks about it. But we'll go Keaton Batman. Original Batman, Joker.
I kind of feel like that's a B. Nostalgia is big on it, but he was such a weird Bruce Wayne.
Well, you don't think Bruce Wayne's going to be a weirdo?
I think that's a C now, though. I honestly think that movie gets pushed down to a C. Like,
I'm not actually going to fight that.
I think that people give this movie so much credit because of the nostalgia factor, because it's the Batman we remember, and that's like everyone's definitive go-to Batman. But like, with what we've got from the Nolan verse and some of these other Batman movies and the different portrayals we've seen about it, I don't think Keaton's Batman lives up to that right now. Now he could come out of the woodworks and save it with his appearance in Flashpoint, the Flash movie, but I think right now that's like a C-list movie compared to some of the other ones.
I'm gonna have to disagree on that. And I do. There's a nostalgia factor, and I won't. And, I have that bias because I was 14 when that came out, and basically that movie it just said, "Oh, adults now think comic books are cool," right? Because it was the first time it was like a Hollywood thing. Adults made this, but the question is, does Batman need to be? There's so many different Batmans. You can have the super realistic, or you can have the fun Batman, which was the comic books for decades, was silly and fun. And what Tim Burton did, like that movie is still, I think, is a very creative movie. The sets, the costumes, the Prince music, the Danny Elfman score, Jack Nicholson, like they took the biggest star in Hollywood at the time, and he's I put him into this role, like that was unheard of at the time, and he fucking ate it up. And then I think on the second one, Batman Returns even improves on that. They took what they did in the first one. The sets are even better. The costumes are even better. And then the character, the Penguin, Danny DeVito, and Catwoman. I don't know. For those two, beyond the nostalgia factor, I still got to put him up in the top tier.
Okay. I mean,
and that's out a lot of respect for Tim Burton. And I think that's, out of his filmography, those kind of stand out as masterpieces.
And I guess that gave me you just gave me a better way of looking at it. Like, because when you're rating these movies, you kind of got to rate, each movie has a different version of Gotham City. Like,
yes.
Tim Burton has his, Nolan has his.
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher had his,
What's up, boys?
His. Hey, Lance, what's going on? You got
what's going on,
all
dude?
these different, you almost got to take Gotham City as a whole as its own entity and its own, like, extension of Batman in these movies. So you're right. You got to kind of think of like that Neo Gotham kind of feel that you get from the Tim Burton stuff or the Schumacher stuff. You got to kind of take that into account. So I guess I would agree with you a little bit there, but I still think the key, what we've seen and the portrayals we've seen of Batman, and especially with the Batman now, I still feel like it's in that C range. But I mean, go with like your mom said A+, Solo said C. I mean, where do you think it should go? A, B? You think it's an S tier? The original 80s Batman, Michael Keaton. Where do you think it goes, Ish? A to B, S?
I mean, I'm pushing for A. If you guys are pushing, wait, S is the top, right? How are these?
S is the top. S is the cream of the crop that rises to the top.
So it was an S, A, B, C. Is that what we're looking at?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. I mean, I almost want to say S. You guys are saying B. We might have to compromise and meet halfway.
So then A.
I can be the tiebreaker. I think it's an A. I don't think.
There you go. Thank you, Lance.
I think it's A.
Kyle says A. Your mom says A.
Ish says S.
Ish says S. Lance says A. So we'll put it A tier.
Cool. Oh, 1 second.
We'll give it A tier.
Now you got to take those movies for what they are. That's the bubblegum Batman. Not quite Batman 66, but those are gorgeous movies. That's so much fun, so much color, so much life.
I think it gets spoiled because of what came. Well, Batman Returns is still a
Lance, you want to turn yourself up a little bit? You're kind of low.
Batman Returns is a really good movie, but the Schumacher stuff that was supposed to be almost like a continuation,
it's not.
I think sours the first couple. Well, it has a lot of the same. I mean, Tim Burton has a very unique style, so it's hard to mimic Tim Burton. Am I coming in better, guys?
Yep.
Okay. It's hard to mimic Tim Burton, but you still look at those as kind of like.
And Val Kilmer, when he's in the Batman suit, he's totally mimicking Michael Keaton. He purses his lips to get that Michael Keaton mouth going. It's total mimicry.
Yeah, so
but
it is supposed to look at like a continuation.
I could take Batman and Robin, and I could separate it from all of that and say, you know what? That's a modern day version of Batman 66. And then I could have a great time watching that movie.
See, Batman Forever is almost as bad as Batman and Robin for me.
All right, well, you called it out. Let's go. Let's start with it. Let's do Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin, where does that rank?
D.
Why?
The fact that so Batman and Robin, you had Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, right? That was awful. You had Chris O'Donnell as Robin, also awful. You had George Clooney. You had and Chris O'Donnell. I like Chris O'Donnell, just not as Robin. I like George Clooney, just not as Batman. The bat nipples, like, I don't know if they got perkier from the Val Kilmer movie to this movie. I don't know, but the bat nipples is definitely, you know,
bat nips are.
It's just a really bad movie.
And bat butt.
Bat butt. But it is also the cancellation of a franchise.
How about George Clooney as Bruce Wayne?
It's still not what Val.
So
like
again,
even Val Kilmer
in the
did a better job.
Adam West vein, he does it great. You know, with the kind of the arrogance, condescending arrogance.
I don't know. I'm just not. Corbin's going to give it an S, I think. But
what? Which one, Lance?
We
Which
can
one?
move straight to
Batman and Robin.
Oh, easily. Lance knows what I'm talking about. No, I'm playing.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you again, bro. No, honestly, as much as I want to, just for the fun of it, if we're being realistic, shout out to the spirit of the original Couch Crunchers. I'm putting on that cap here as a movie analyst. I'm still giving. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm probably looking. Here's the thing. I think Ish kind of touched on it, if I heard right, which is that I was trying to go for a campy role. That being said, I mean, it was memorable for it, but it was also not good. Like, it's not enjoyable in this campiness. I think that camp has to have a certain level of, like, fondness, you know? And I think that there was just too much going on the negative.
How can you not enjoy Arnie in all his Mr. Freeze glory?
I did. I enjoyed that line. I enjoyed this is why Superman works alone line. I enjoyed the Poison Ivy. I thought she was amazing in that. But then, you know, I grew up, I guess. No, I'm playing. Never leave home without it.
I like the vehicles in that one. When all the vehicles show up all at once and they show them all going together, I was like, that's pretty cool.
It was. You know what? I could see C.
See, I can't put an Adam West on the same tier. I can't do that.
No?
Oh, come on. It's a much better movie than the Adam West.
I would also.
But there's a certain affinity for Adam West because he's the original. It's like Christopher Reeves, what's the guy that's playing the English guy? Henry Cavill looks the part and does a great Superman, but Christopher Reeves is the OG, man. Like, it's you know what I'm saying? So I see it as the same in the same breath. Adam West is the OG Batman. You have Caesar Romero. There's all these like awesome things about Batman 66 that I just can't put Batman and Robin at the same tier as Batman 66.
Come on, Arnie, Mr. Freeze Arnie would so fit into that TV show.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. That was horrible. But I mean, honestly,
it's a cheesy ass movie, but it's 66. You have to remember it's 66, not late 90s.
Well, okay, so I guess because you make a very interesting theory or a very interesting
chances
like
Henry Cavill
process here, Lance. But like, how much credit do you give for it being first, and then just other things being better? Because some, like, okay, Batman '89, up until like how we feel about the Batman, people could still make a credible argument that was one of the best Batman movies. You know what I mean? It just so happened to be the first of that kind of Batman movie. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I think like I guess what I'm asking is are you giving major points because it was like the first of its kind, or are you giving it more because like the nostalgia still holds being a superior movie than Batman and Robin was in the 90s?
I just say was the role Arnold was born to play.
I just say, being that it was in 66 and knowing about the era of those movies that were coming out, and then looking at Batman and Robin that came out in the late 90s or early 2000s. What was it? Late 90s?
97.
97.
I was too.
And looking at the differences of the time periods that those two movies come out, the 66 makes sense. It wasn't like they were trying to bastardize this franchise, right? And yes, a lot of people, Cesar Romero, a lot of people argue that you go on Facebook chats, a lot of people argue that he's one of the top 3 best Jokers of all time. You know, and which I don't fully agree with that, but what I'm saying, like, there is a certain affinity for what Adam West is, and I just can't put the travesty that is Schumacher, you know, a franchise killer. Okay. It stopped that franchise.
That's true.
Schumacher's franchise.
That's true.
There's a reason for that.
That's true.
You know,
yes. You kind of, yeah. I think in that, for me, that argument won because you're right. After Batman and Robin, it was that he submarined any hope of another one. If you submarine a movie franchise, then I can't fight for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Lance is not wrong on any of the points he made.
no.
So
The movie's
66,
so
I mean, there's such an
fun
affinity
AF.
that they came out with an animated movie, 5 years ago? A redo before Adam West died?
They made,
Yeah, and
they
they've
made a
got a-
couple. Yeah.
And they had a
Mhm.
couple comic book series. Kevin Smith wrote Batman 66 and Green Hornet series. I think he even wrote a Batman 66 series.
Mhm.
So
Think
There's
it
an
too.
affinity for it.
Yeah.
I would argue that it's too low, honestly. But I just like, dude, the shark. What do they call it? The spray he had.
Shark
What is it?
Shark repellent?
Shark repellent. He's just the cheesiest shit. But dude, you can't help but watch it and have a smile on your face.
I see what you mean. I see what
That's
you
kind
mean.
of how I feel with Batman and Robin, though.
I
No,
get that.
Batman and Robin, I
As
wish was
outrageously
stricken from
bad
my
as that
memory.
movie is.
Dude, but Batman and Robin is a career killer because Chris O'Donnell had so much heat on him as he was going to be the next like Hollywood it guy, and he had so much heat on him coming from TV, and this was the movie that's going to push him. And this movie,
Was that like the first movie that everybody was able to shit all over on the internet?
like this
On
movie, like
CompuServe and
just
AOL.com.
fucking-
One of those, yeah.
you might
Alicia
have well,
Silverstone. I would say that's where Alicia Silverstone's career peaked. 'Cause
Yeah.
what has she
Yeah.
done since then? It
Definitely the
killed
biggest
so
movie
many
she was
careers.
ever in, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, she
no,
cemented herself a supporting cast after that.
you can't say she was in Clueless, which is
Clueless was nowhere near as big as Batman.
no. Okay, I understand what you're saying budget wise,
Or box office budget.
but
I'm just saying, this movie
Clueless is
basically-
considered a timeless classic.
It's
is what I'm
a
trying to-
cult classic for sure. I'm
Yeah.
not denying
this
that.
movie basically took Chris O'Donnell's career, waterboarded it, and then suffocated it with a pillow.
Now he's
Because-
doing NCIS.
Yeah, because so he had to go back to TV, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, you know,
With LL Cool J of all
Right.
people.
Also noted movie star.
They couldn't even get Ice-T to like reprise his role or like come in. They had to get LL Cool J, which is Ice-T.
nah, he was
Light.
busy. Ice-T's busy on SVU, bro. He's getting that NBC money. He's good, man.
And that commercials that Ice-T does for
Tide.
the car repair insurance.
Oh
he's
yeah.
making
The
bank
back
off
card,
that.
never
He's
leave the
making
cave
bank
without
off
it,
that.
was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, pretty much. Although I wish I had
That
one,
card
tell you
was
that.
bad. Yeah.
The Ice-T commercials that he does with Tive with Stone Cold Steve Austin are pretty funny.
Yeah, this is a cold call.
Yeah.
So where are we going with Batman and Robin?
D.
D.
I think D. It's up to you guys. I came in late.
Well,
I'm halfway through the episode.
I
so
want to
don't
say
think-
B. It's probably more of a C.
You want to see B on Batman?
Just, I
and
have so
Robin?
much fun watching that movie. So like my inside say
It's a
B, but
personal
my
favorite. I
mind will
can
say
respect
okay
that.
C. I don't agree with D, but that's up to you guys.
I mean, I'm gonna say D because Batman Forever still exists. So
then we're gonna
Batman
go-
Forever is better than Batman and Robin.
which is why I agree with you. And I could much rather argue for Batman Forever being C and Batman and Robin being D than I can argue for Batman Forever being B.
Solo
and,
says
yeah.
D. Kyle says C.
I'm gonna say D, but I could see a C. I like the movie. Like, I have a soft spot for the Shoemaker movies, but like, if I'm going at it from like objectively, was it a good movie? I can't argue for Batman and Robin.
See, I would pick Batman and Robin over Batman Forever just because
Whoa!
Val Kilmer stinks as Batman.
Dude,
That's
but
Whoa.
Jim Carrey was
All right,
fucking
let's do it.
awesome.
Let's rip
Jim
this
Carrey
Band-Aid
was
off.
Whoa!
If it misses Jim Carrey,
Whoa!
that movie is unfucking watchable. If
It's
it
just
misses
sitting
Jim
here
Carrey.
buying his time from the moment he said, "I can't wait to see how we differ on the rest of them." It's just been waiting to rip that Band-Aid. So let's just do it. Let's just do Batman Forever. Let's go.
If there's
no.
a D, it's
Wait,
Batman
you put
Forever.
Heavens,
Batman and
no.
Robin at C?
Oh,
Yeah,
Batman and Robin.
Batman Forever's B, and I don't agree with that.
Whoa! Where's
Your
the
mom
smelling
says
salts?
Batman. Your mom says Val Kilmer's a pretty shit Batman.
Whoa!
Take away
I
Jim
can't deal.
Carrey and the Seal Kiss from a Rose song, and you got nothing. You got Tommy Lee Jones's weirdest performance ever.
No, you got the best until you had the first Batman movie that actually contained a mystery. You had a Batman who struggled with whether or not he was Bruce Wayne or Batman. You had an internal development in terms of the Batman actually becoming something better at the end of the movie than just I'm Batman from beginning to end. There was some actual character development in there. Yes, Val Kilmer happened to be him. That's fine. Yes, there was some bad lines there, but you had Batman. Nicole Kidman, I disagree.
Your mom said Nicole Kidman is
Yeah, I'm going to
dope.
disagree with the Nicole Kidman.
I'm gonna disagree with that, but like I see what you're coming from. I do think that the
What was
villains are
Nicole
super
Kidman
campy.
in that?
She was
She was
Dr.
Dr.
Lillian Chase.
Chase.
Yeah.
You know, it shows you how long it's been since I watched any.
It
None of these
came out-
movies are good. None
It
of them
came
are
out the
good.
year- It came out the year I was born. That was a great year in American history, so I also got to give it a chop up for that. All right.
Yeah, every high school student in America is
Whoa.
learning about Corbin's birthday in their history books.
I'm telling you, Batman Forever, baby. No, but yes, the campiness was definitely there. But I'm talking about in terms of the story, in terms of actually having a mystery. The first Batman movie up until this one to actually have that, I think, is a big element for a character who is titled the world's greatest detective. I'm just saying. I definitely get the campy elements on it as well. We didn't have the bad cod piece or the bad nipples really to take away from it just yet. Chris O'Donnell's a lot more bearable as Robin in that one. I think
Their
there's a
suits
lot
look less
more
like
there.
Power Rangers.
Exactly.
There's
I
not
think
so
there's
many
a-
layers.
Yep.
And the red and oh no.
Exactly. The color scheme wasn't totally off. You still had some elements of like a more darker Gotham than just full blown anarchy like it got later. Like it had its moments, and it also had Drew Barrymore. People forget that.
Drew Barrymore was in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Now I gotta check just to make sure, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure she was.
She was one of the. She is.
She was one of the
Riddler's.
Riddler's.
She was one
she was one
of
of
the
the Riddler's-
henchmen. One of.
Yep, henchwoman.
Sad. Fuck, shows
So-
how long
And
I've
the
been
so
other
that
one
as well.
is
I
an
just can I
actress-
just point something out,
Yeah,
and I
she was
know
Sugar. That was her name.
I know you guys make fun of me because I tend to look up things online, and I'm not developing my opinion about this because I had it before. But according to Rotten Tomatoes, Batman Forever has a 39% tomato meter. Batman and Robin is 12. So just
Wow.
putting that out there.
Well, no, that's telling. I've never seen a franchise take such a step backward as for. I think if they had done Batman and Robin the same kind of way they did Forever, like yes, has some campiness, but also more of a serious note, it'd be better. But the way they handled Nora Freeze, I mean, we don't got to rehash it. We already got them graded. But I agree with you on that. I think that they both should be in the same kind of area. But I think Batman and Robin was done way better. Now, that being said, I did go back and rewatch it this past week. And then on the tech show, I had a wonderful Pete pulled out something that I had not realized, which is that, yeah, Val Kilmer wasn't the greatest, but there was like some lines where he just straight up sucked. And yeah, I definitely have to knock it down a peg now, but like, that's my movie. Or it was my movie until this one.
But how much of that Rotten Tomatoes score too is the fact that this is the first movie. So we went from the two Burton movies to this. So this is more like where we got that neo Gotham, the like over exaggerated, very colorful, like Gotham City, where and Tommy Lee Jones over the top,
Batman
Jim
Forever?
Carrey as the Riddler. Yeah,
Well,
That was-
it turned from gothic to like neo Tokyo. Everything was
Yeah.
neon.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Is
And
I wonder
Batman
if
and Robin
how much of
kind of
that.
swung the pendulum back towards the more gothic look, though.
Right. So I wonder if that's what gives us that Rotten Tomatoes bump is that they had two movies of that very gritty, dark Gotham to now this, like you said, Neo Tokyo version. So I wonder if that's what gives it that bump is just the fact that it's a different
How is
take.
36% a bump, though? 36%
Above 12.
Like a terrible score.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
according to
These
Terrible
movies
Square,
aren't,
it's
yeah,
12.
these movies aren't going to win the S tier.
At that
all.
point, it's like, what's really the difference between a 12 and a 35? You know, you're talking crap movies.
They're both
Kyle
bad.
said
Batman
the
and Robin,
worst
it's
Gotham
only
was
like
in
I'm
the
the only
Joker.
person in the world who likes it.
Oh no, I mean I like it I don't like it as much as you do, Ish, but I'm with you on that. I think Batman and Robin, for what it was a very decent movie. I just happen to
Oh,
like
no. I'm calling it a night.
I happen to like Batman Forever.
I thought that I had
I'm stressing
Corbin.
that
I
that
thought that I
movie
was
was
getting him
fun.
to
I think
change
it's
his
a super
opinion,
fun
and he
movie.
just said, "Fuck you, Lance."
No, you make no. Listen, I don't. The reason you no, that did come off wrong, Lance. No, I don't put a lot into. I think at the end of the day, like Rotten Tomatoes is a great barometer. I think ultimately, like certain movies Rotten Tomatoes doesn't like, I think are amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I
I
But
don't
you
look
can
at-
also
yeah.
look at the audience score. So you guys want to know the audience score?
Sure.
The audience score for Batman Forever is 32%. The audience score for Batman and Robin is 16%. So
It's a
half.
hike up over the critics, but that's just
Well,
about
so
yeah.
also,
That's true.
more audience liked Batman and Robin than critics, and then vice versa on Batman Forever. The critics liked it more than the audience, but by
Quality
tiny
of the
margins, of course.
But
Can I
there's
throw
still
something out there
a
with all this Rotten
disparage.
Tomatoes
There's still
talk?
I give
guys ever-
Rotten Tomatoes a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
You guys ever check out Metacritic? I think
Yes,
Metacritic is a much better than Rotten Tomatoes, but it's not, a popular one. But you go to Metacritic and the scores seem a lot more realistic. Because Rotten Tomatoes also
Did you
factors
look it
in
up,
people's
Ish?
blogs and stuff, like not actual.
Yeah, I get what
critics.
you mean, Judge Mo. Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to look and see what Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are at Metacritic?
Yeah, let's see that on Metacritic. I'm curious. There'll probably be really low
Similar?
scores too, but
They're all going to be low scores. These are not good movies. When you look at every Batman movie, you can pretty much put this one, Batman Forever, and Justice League at the bottom, right?
I mean,
Well,
yes.
this is the time too where like. If
well,
you look
let's
at
get
every
there
other-
with the rankings. We'll see what.
Well, if you
see
look at
how it
every other
plays out.
Batman movie too, like so, this is the first time. So like, Batman and Batman Forever had the same two people playing Batman, Michael Keaton. Then it went to Kilmer and then to Clooney. So they were switching every movie. So you didn't even really get a chance for them to find their footing.
Yeah,
Really with this
that's
character.
true.
And then we go into the Dark Knight, 3 Dark Knight movies with Bale, and then you get 2 with Affleck, being Batman, Superman, and Justice League, and now you're getting this Pattinson one. So, like, I want to give it a little bit of credit.
All right.
I'm not counting Snyder Cut. I guess we could
Snyder Cut-
we can throw that in with Justice League.
Does it
if
make?
you
Do you think
want,
it makes a
but
difference as far as Batman is concerned?
No.
Snyder Cut or-
No, what Snyder Cut provides over Whedon's version is it fills a lot of holes in the story, but the story's still bland, right? Like,
Okay.
and then Zack Snyder could have had a better movie if he didn't take the stylistic choices that he took and it's like, I'm gonna make it look like I shot this whole movie through a paper towel roll or something. You know what I mean? Like, he did stylistic choices, and I'm like, this is unwatchable. This is not what I bought a 65-inch screen to watch, something that's like on a 14-inch screen, like he made a lot of stylistic choices that made the movie not as good, but the story is better, and that's
it's
not
like a bland
saying a
steak
lot.
is still bland no matter what size it is.
yeah.
Well, I
Okay, so
feel
you
like,
want to know
for instance-
Metacritic?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, Batman and Robin Metascore 28, user score 5.8. Batman Forever Metascore 51, user score 6.7. So it's very similar to what Rotten Tomatoes was.
Still, 51 on Metacritic is actually not too bad for a kind of a popcorn movie.
It changes red to yellow, so that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
When you look at the color scale.
But all right, Batman Forever. What are we thinking?
It has to be over Batman and Robin, in my opinion. I think Batman and Robin's too high. I would have put Batman Forever at a C. Because I'm looking at the rest of the field here, and everything else is better than the 2 that we've just discussed, and you're only giving me 3 slots to put the rest of the field, except for Justice League, but you're only giving me 3 slots to put the rest of the field into, and that's limiting.
I mean, we don't have to put a movie into D. We can say the worst of the Batman movies is a C.
Yeah, it
True
doesn't
that.
have to be.
I'm
I mean,
kind of fine with
but
that. I don't know about you guys.
If we're putting Batman, so we're gonna say Batman and Robin is a C. You don't think that bumps? I mean, Batman Forever is a C. You don't think that bumps?
I think Batman Forever is a
Robin
C,
down.
but I do think it's better than Batman and Robin. So by just looking at,
I would put
by just
Batman
looking
Forever
at
as a
how
B.
we're, I don't
I
think
can't
they're
go
the same
B,
level.
dude. Really? A B?
yeah,
put
I
a B.
can't go B.
Think
No
about
way.
that, dude. In high
I think
school,
those are
if you
very
got
comfortable.
B's,
Those 3 movies sitting in that C slot right there.
Again, you guys are
Move on.
missing. I get what you guys are saying about the movie, but look at the character development. Look at the story behind it. You can't tell me the movies about to say have better stories, except for maybe one.
Tommy
2.
Lee Jones was terrible in that movie.
Yes, it's not by all means a perfect movie, but there's an A and there's an S tier.
I think
So
Jim
B is
Carrey's
like
a
the new
terrible
C.
Riddler.
But terrible in like a
Again.
train wreck way. You can't take your eyes off it because you're like, what is he doing?
does it
That's-
pass? Does it pass? When you look at every single Batman property that you looked at, does it pass? Like, think of high school terms. If B is C, does it pass?
Listen, it's okay. It's like that one class where you have that one student who's not quite as bright, but the teacher likes him. That's Batman
Whoa.
66. If they get a passing score, then me as Batman Forever have to get one as well. That's how I look at it. I mean, like, I get what you mean, and you make a very good point. But again, I think we're missing that. Yes, we don't like the casting choices of a few of them. You can't argue that for its time.
Not the
it was the
casting
closest
choices,
to an
dude.
actual. Well, okay, you don't like the acting performances.
It's not even the acting; it's the direction and the writing because Val Kilmer is a very good actor. I don't know if you've seen The Saint or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
and I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
or The Doors with him as Jim Morrison. Val Kilmer is a phenomenal actor. And George Clooney is also a phenomenal actor. So that's when it comes down to writing and directing, when you know that these people have what it takes to be good actors.
That's true.
But there's good actors, but it doesn't mean that they're cut out to play.
I thought the writing in
that's right. It might be a poor casting choice, but good actors can make something out of nothing, right? We've seen it with a lot of actors, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Batman versus Superman is not a good movie, but Ben Affleck makes you like his Batman. It's poor writing.
If we're doing Clooney versus Kilmer, I think Clooney
Kilmer wins.
Hell more charismatic in the role, especially as Bruce
I agree
Wayne.
with that. I agree with that.
Much
But
more,
I'm
so
looking
much more life and charisma to the role.
Who had the best
Maybe
villain?
not the best, but it's still
Val Kilmer.
Still way better than what Val Kilmer brought to the table, which was.
But who had the best
he's like
villain?
A zombie
Because
in that.
movies are made by good villains, right? We've seen that with Marvel movies. The worst Marvel movies have really bad villains. The best ones have really good villains. So who had the best villain? Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. Drew Barrymore was.
I call it a tie. Because Arnold and Jim Carrey tie.
Arnold was bad, dude.
No, he's
bad.
amazing. Stop, Lance. No.
He looks like an astronaut that fell into a freezer.
Like I told Lady Freeze before I pulled the plug. It's a one-woman show. Just for that, I knocked it down.
Arnold is
bad.
Is fucking. Oh, it's so glorious.
Jim Carrey changed our perception of what the Riddler is supposed to be. They made that version. His version of the Riddler is what made like the rest of the cartoon shows that we've seen. It wasn't
but
until.
He's also doing his Jim.
Thank
Carrey
God for Paul Dano.
For most of the time, though.
It wasn't until like I would say probably Gotham that we got really a different version of the Riddler.
Thank God for Paul Dano.
And I'm not trying to say that that's a good version, but what I'm saying is it was the same for a long time.
Well, Jim Carrey, I'd say he brought a pretty classic like comic book version.
Yes, but it really kind of brought the Riddler into the forefront as far as general audiences are concerned.
Let's just put it this way. The director, the writer have both apologized for making Batman and Robin. No one's apologized for Batman Forever. I think that should say it right there.
We're doing an apology. I feel
I mean, George Clooney, the person who wrote it, and they were like, listen, okay, we made a mistake. We owe you one. If you have to say about a movie
I
you
just
made,
think it's funny that Ish
when
says,
Clooney
look at
shits all
Metacritic.
over that movie,
Metacritic is way better.
Batman.
Well, no, I don't mean that. Yeah, no, it just hit me because I was like, wait a second. No, I agree. Like, again, I have a soft spot for it, but if the old creator of the product goes, hey, listen, that wasn't our best work. Like,
all right,
I feel
sorry.
he was bullied. He was bullied by angry fans into apologizing.
So we're gonna go B, and we'll see if it gets knocked down here.
Okay, if we're going B on Batman Forever, I'm willing to compromise. Do Batman and Robin D and drop Forever to C.
Oh wow, really?
That's where I think it should be. But
handle it out of
I
B,
don't
but
want to make
that's
Ish
just
compromise
my
his values because Ish is a strong man.
I don't mind Ish compromising his
I'm
values.
not, I'm not going to pretend Batman and Robin is, Lawrence of Arabia. My whole argument is based purely on the fact that
we'll leave it how it is for now, and once we get some of these other ones on the board, then we'll see how dominoes fall.
I like it.
So we're gonna leave it.
I gotta say, Ish. So your mom is saying that Jim Carrey plays the same role in every character or every movie he's in. The number 23. What's the one he did with Kate Winslet?
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Eternal Sunshine.
He's a good actor.
He's a phenomenal actor. His big ticket stuff. He's playing the same guy.
Always are great actors. That's not a.
Oh yeah, Adam Sandler's drama roles are great. And you would
but
never
the
think
Riddler
that you could pull
is
that
Jim Carrey shtick, though.
You're right. They took Ace Ventura and put him in a leotard.
That's what you expect. Yeah, exactly. A Jim Carrey in a crazy leotard with a giant cane.
And they're doing it again for Dr. Robotnik.
His bright ass red hair.
Yeah. Let's go next. What's next?
All right, we're gonna go Batman. Batman Forever. Oh, we already did Batman Forever. God damn it.
So we skip Batman Returns, I guess, if we're going.
Batman Returns. We're gonna do Batman Returns.
I mean, Batman Returns was critically okay. I mean, I thought it was odd for a Christmas movie. I guess it works, right?
Good follow up. You get Michelle Pfeiffer as the Catwoman.
Hell yeah, Danny
points for
DeVito
that.
as the Penguin. That movie is phenomenal.
I agree. I put it almost at the same tier as
Batman
the original.
Forever.
I want to say
No. As Michael Keaton's first, it's almost.
I think in many ways it improves on the first one.
Yeah, it's a solid. I put it at an A. I think it's a great movie. I love that movie.
You like Danny DeVito's like overly disgusting version of the Penguin?
I do. And he looks like it. It's like he jumped out of the comic book, dude. Like he looks so much like it. It's perfect. He even had the waddle down and like, oh, dude, the nose.
The drooling.
I thought it was more grotesque than anything, but.
And how he's basically wearing a giant onesie the entire time instead of his.
Did he have flipper hands?
He did.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then he brings so much pathos to the role too.
I like Colin Farrell's
He's
version
like the
better,
victim, you know. He plays this victim, and everyone
that's
has
not
to sympathize and feel bad.
That's the Penguin as we've had the last 30 years.
If
you remember, after that movie, they changed how the Penguin was done. Because they did the animated series.
He was that way in the animated series. He was
that way for 2 years. The animated series, and they changed it to what he is now. The nightclub
animated
owner
series,
looking
Penguin
like
is more like Batman 66 Penguin with the twirling umbrellas and the monocle and
But that was how Danny DeVito kind of had that. Danny DeVito kind of had that.
He did.
Like, but in a really disgusting, like Matt pointed out,
over the top, more grotesque Tim Burton way.
But that is Tim Burton. That's Tim Burton.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I love Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I thought
he's amazing.
I thought it was fucking inspired. Colin Farrell to me, that's not the Penguin. That's
the Penguin to me. I get what you mean. I love that. Like he's not that gross and over the top. If you read the comics, he's not that over the top. That's Tim Burton influence, which is fine. But Tim Burton is not a Batman writer. Tim Burton did a Batman movie, and that was his interpretation. But that is not the interpretation. Because if you read the comics, he's more what you're seeing in the Batman and in anything you've seen the last 30 years than he is in Tim Burton.
I don't agree with that.
A couple.
I agragree with Corbin 100%.
30 years.
That's like when Kelly Jones and Doug Minch wrote Batman. They had Kelly Jones as a horror illustrator. So his Batman was grotesque and over the top and these weird angles. That's not Batman. That was how he portrayed Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I take that same logic and you put it to the Penguin. If you read Batman comics in the 80s, like it wasn't quite like that at all. And then you read just after that, and then you did have a spurt where the animated series and comics took from that, and then they were like, what are we doing? And they went back to the normal Penguin.
I just don't see as Colin Farrell that character that he's portraying
as
an original character. I don't see that. I see that same character in a lot of gangster movies.
Well, that's the Penguin. No, I see what you're saying. Here's what I'm trying to get you, Lance. Like what you're saying is, Rob, I'm not trying to invalidate your thoughts at all. I'm saying though, if anyone was an original character, it was Tim Burton's take on the Penguin. That was an original. And it was
inspired,
character.
In my opinion.
Yes, but if we're going comic accurate, no way, no, it was not.
Well, I mean,
I think Lance, you mean not inspired by the comics, but just
exactly.
It was like inspired. It was inspired, like God Himself came down and said, "This is the Penguin," and Tim Burton's like, "Okay," you know, like.
I mean, if God Himself came down,
and
was anything,
he's like, "Mr. Burton." I don't know if God would call anybody Mr., but Mr. Burton.
God calls me
Danny DeVito. It's like Danny DeVito as the Wolverine. No, it's like that Colin Farrell character is the same guy that I've seen in Gangster Squad and all the nightclub owners and the sleazy nightclub owners, or that lower level guy that kind of rises up to take over the whole operation. When
Sopranos.
Listen, I would pay
the same
They said they were taking off of that actually.
Yeah, is there a rumor? Character. There's a rumor that he's going to get his own spin-off.
He's getting an HBO spinoff. Yeah,
it better be like DC's version of The Sopranos.
And I hope no one takes it that I think he did a bad job. I think he was
I would
fantastic.
pay money to see Danny DeVito.
I think he
as
stole
Wolverine.
the show. Colin Farrell stole the show. He was
great. He was
really
great.
in that role.
But it's the same character that's in every other gangster movie.
Well, yeah, no. In what you're saying, I agree. I think that again, I'm going from the comic book perspective, which is that he is a deformed gangster with like some affinity with umbrellas and stuff that we didn't really see. You know what I mean? Like if we're going by that, like the character himself is not very original comic wise. if we're going by like what Tim Burton did, absolutely gotta give it credit. If that's what you choose to do, I'm with you on that. I think because it wasn't comic accurate, it lost points for me because it was over the top and gross in a way that I was like, yeah, no, it didn't hit for me the same way. It hit for you different, it hit for others different. That's why people liked it. But actually, the Penguin's kind of divisive in that movie, so I can't even say it hit for everyone. But
I don't. Oh, go ahead, Corbin. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. I was saying, I get where you're coming from, though, for sure. I think that in and of itself, I'm not knocking the Penguin for being a crime boss because, like, you're right, it's not original. And, like, Bob Kane and what he did with half of the Batman characters wasn't really original anyway. So, he's ripping off a lot of guys there. But I agree.
I think Bob Kane stole most of his ideas. So
that's what I mean. Like, the Penguin himself is not an original character because Bob Kane rarely did original characters. I'm with you 110%.
Well, if they're doing sequels to this, then definitely there's room to grow for that character.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just to go from Falcone's henchman to we'll probably see something a little crazier down the road.
Your mom. That's why God took Alan Rickman. He was set to retire, so he needed somebody to take his place.
Yeah, I really like the Penguin take in the show Gotham.
That was more accurate.
He ended up
it's
being
a
kind of
mix
the
of the
center
deformed kind of crime boss thing. Like, again, it's comic accurate, so I liked it.
He was too like.
I didn't like
wimpy.
the voice per se. It wasn't macho enough, but whatever.
Yeah, he was too like.
That's the
like
Penguin.
As soon as the pressure was put on him, he'd like cower.
But that is the Penguin.
Though. Like you're like Penguin is not this like
he's
level like villain. He's like just this like
he's like with
slime ball, dude. Yeah.
This movie is gonna set him up to be.
Well, it is, but I think he's going to do it in an indirect way. Like you saw how the Riddler did it. He's going to come to the top like the Riddler did. Like it's through other measures because he's going to get there. But like the Riddler said at the end, I mean, I want to go into the movie. The Riddler was, hey, I'm not a physical person. Like I had to do it a different way. Like the Riddler's going to have to do it a different way. He's not. You saw him with Batman. He wasn't trying to fight nobody. That's not his way. But he's successful in the way that he does things. And I think that's. I agree with Matt. Like he's a B tier villain. He just is played in a way that. In certain ways it's done well. I think, and you said it in Batman Forever, you can make an argument that it was done well.
And I think that's why they had to go that route.
Or Batman Returns.
Batman Forever is because he is kind of like that non-threatening. I mean, he's got a little bit of threat to him, but he's not like a Joker level. He's not like a Joker level villain. So I think that's kind of why they made him a little bit more grotesque and gave him that edge to make him just feel a little bit more menacing, like he was a bigger villain than he actually is.
I also think it's a take on the elite in America because he was also kind of like you've seen it in future things. Like he always has like this proper way of speaking and like he's into nice fancy things and he eats at like a 15-foot long table. Like he has this like executive level way of living, and then to make him grotesque to show how gross these people are. I think there's a social view put on the Penguin, which is why he is the way he is. You know what I'm saying? Like the top 1% of America.
I like where you come with that. I will say another thing I think too. Remember there was 3 villains in Batman Forever? It was Batman, it was the Penguin, it was Catwoman, it was Max Schreck. Max Schreck had more of the qualities for Penguin. So you can't give him the other qualities, so you had to make the Penguin separate from Max Schreck because you do have the shrewd, conniving kind of businessman who owns a share of Gotham behind the scene, that sort of thing.
Who does that was Christopher Walken? That
was what the Penguin was Max Schreck. So then the Penguin had to be what the Penguin is, but leaned in a totally different direction. So I agree with you. It could be the fact that we could interpret it different ways. I think does speak to the benefit of how decent the movie was. So
and you just mentioned Max Schreck, played by Christopher Walken. That's another element that just made that movie even better. And that is true. So many movies sometimes struggle with they won too many villains.
That was the first movie to try to shoehorn. That was the first superhero movie to try to put in like 3 or 4 villains, if you remember.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So we'll keep it at A for now, but I think there might be some tier shuffling here. Batman Begins.
Didn't like it.
You didn't like Batman Begins?
Movie, dude.
What? I don't remember it. Like it was a movie. I know that.
Wow, I love that damn movie.
Wow. We're just blown away by what Corbin said.
No, I'm not even like. Listen, when you guys have your comebacks and stuff, I don't even an argument. Like for me, it's a C movie. I'm not. Whatever you guys said
Oh,
to that is
fuck.
totally there. It wasn't groundbreaking for me. It was just a movie.
Ooh, wow.
Batman Begins is dude, I love
Kyle
Batman
says-
Begins so much.
Kyle says S. My name is Kyle says S.
Well,
Your
there it
mom
is.
says meh.
Batman Begins changed the trajectory of Batman.
I will agree with that.
That's why we got Ben Affleck the way he is. That's why we got Robert Pattinson the way he is. It all starts with Batman Begins. That's why they tried to redo Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, was because of Batman Begins and that whole Christopher Nolan trilogy. It changed the landscape of superhero movies. That's how big that movie was.
And that was the first time.
That movie is art, in my opinion. I love
And that was the first
movie.
time you kind of got to see Bruce Wayne going through, like,
Trauma.
his trauma and what
you
built
guys are
him
forgetting
to be
Batman Forever.
Batman.
You guys are forgetting
No.
Batman Forever. That's the first
Everybody
time we saw
wants
his
to
trauma.
forget Batman Forever.
That's the first time we saw his trauma, though. Like, we can't make up different rules. I see what you mean, though, but they try. Anyway, all right, moving on.
Like we got the Scarecrow. We got, you know,
Sicilian. What's his name? Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah,
we got the Scarecrow. We got, you know, Ra's al
inspired,
Ghul,
yes.
Ra's al Ghul.
I have the tiniest little nitpick, but it still bugs me because I thought he was so fucking awesome that Ken Watanabe was the fake Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
It was
Mhm.
Liam Neeson.
I wanted
wasn't it?
him to actually be the Ra's
He's
al
the
Ghul because he
actual-
looked so
yeah.
awesome. And yeah, it ended up being the
Rach,
twist
yeah.
with Liam Neeson, but I always, in my mind, I was like, man, I wish that they had just stuck with that dude as Ra's al Ghul.
I'm kind of not a huge Liam Neeson fan, especially lately, where every movie he's coming out with is essentially Taken Part 18.
yes.
you know,
Token.
Yeah. Every
Listen.
time my parents are like, "Oh, I want to go see this Liam Neeson movie," I was like, "Dude, it's Taken, but with snow. It's
is he angry
Taken, but
with
with a
guns?
boat.
Yeah.
It's Taken
Yeah.
with you know,
With the subway.
yeah. It's the same movie over and over and over again." So Liam
Your mom
Neeson
says
and me, complicated.
those Nolan movies are so overrated. She
I
says it set a
disagree
new
with your
level
mom.
I
of
actually agree with that.
respect those movies carried moving forward. Kyle says S. Quantum Kyle says S. What do you think, Lance?
S.
Corbin.
B.
Okay.
You are
I wish I were
so
kidding.
flip floppy. You're like D.
Hey, it's all right.
Forgettable.
I said because I know it's not going to level it down enough, and you guys had convincing arguments. It was a movie for me. Like, I can't give it a D because it wasn't bad. It just was. I think it's overrated. I think the next one's overrated too. We're going to talk about that's in that Nolan franchise. But I'm not going to say any of those movies are horrible. They're not. But
Where are you sitting at, Ish?
I'd say A.
If it's A tier, Batman
If-
Forever. If
if
it's
we had
A
put
tier,
The
Batman
first two in
Returns goes
S
down to
tier,
B.
I could have put this in S tier, but I can't put it in S tier above Batman 89 and Batman Returns.
Yeah, I
So I'll
think
have to
it's
say A.
I think it's over Batman Returns. I think if this goes into A, Batman Returns goes down to B.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think
Probably
that this movie is definitely better than Batman Returns.
I don't
She's
know.
gonna come
It
fight
still
you,
doesn't have
Quantum.
Dane DeVito as the Penguin.
Is she
But-
gonna go fight Quantum?
Wait, what's going on here?
I hope he should fight him. I'm gonna put him in timeout. Watch your mouth. Respect.
Hey,
It was pretty
it is
funny.
what
I
it
liked
is.
it.
All
I
right.
liked it.
Dark Knight. Is there even a? It's S tier, right?
Yes.
All right, Corbin. Let's hear it.
I just think we're giving. I'm not going to win this argument with y'all, but I would say B. I think it got a little bit of an overrated. I think it's a little overrated, personally.
We talk about
Then like the mhm.
Danny DeVito being inspired. I would say that Heath Ledger as the Joker was written in a tablet somewhere in Egypt, like hidden 100 feet underground a million years ago, and they found it and had to do it. Like, and you have to remember when he was cast, the internet exploded. Everybody was pissed. Much like
Yeah, I
Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Much like
Everybody
Michael
was pissed.
Not me. I will go on record as saying I have been a supporter of Robert Pattinson as Batman since day one.
Yeah, I was cautious the entire time. I said, I don't know about this one, but whatever. But people were pissed with Heath Ledger. Like that's written record. People were
He got
pissed.
over that real quick.
He is the best live action Joker we have ever seen, hands down.
Yes, Kyle's right there with me. Me and Kyle have been Pattinson supporters since day one.
Like Jack Nicholson, he was amazing, but it was still a little gangster-ish. Like Heath Ledger brought that psychotic, like unhinged, the stuff that you saw from the animated series with Mark Hamill doing. It was like Heath Ledger took that and made it real life. Like the unhingedness, like just at any moment this guy could flip from on and off and just go crazy. Jack Nicholson didn't
Dude,
do that.
he eats food off other people's plates. That's boss. He walks to the party.
The pencil
That's my
trick?
favorite part. He walks to the party, just drinks their drink, takes the fucking thing off the plate, eats this. Like he's fucking king of that room.
The whole movie, you're trying to guess what this dude's motivation is, and his motivation is he's simply crazy. It's not money. It's
also
not
leads to a
power.
big plot hole because his plot with the bombs and stuff, if you think
That's
about it,
stupid.
makes zero sense. And I think that's kind of
Well,
the one,
that's just
the
Christopher
one negative
Nolan being
of
a
that
little bit
movie
too
of a fantastic
cerebral for
movie
all of
is
us.
his plot makes no sense. It's
But you do the whole movie. You're like, what? Why is this guy doing what he's doing? And you look at it and you're just like, oh, he's crazy. He doesn't want money. He doesn't want power. He doesn't want. He thinks he is Batman. Like he thinks they're the same person. Heath Ledger is the reason we got the Joaquin Phoenix movie. They wanted more of that, and
Sure,
Joaquin Phoenix
sure.
took that and dialed it up to
well, that
11.
role is any
And
actor's
speaking
too.
of we should have put Joker on this tier list because it is a
It's not a
Batman
Batman movie. No.
Bruce Wayne's in it.
Yeah, but I know you know how I turn against that. I get where you're coming from, Lance. But the director himself had said before the movie went out it was a comic book movie. Then they try to walk it back afterwards. That was fake to me. Nah, you said at the beginning it wasn't a comic book movie. It's not a comic book movie. That's what he his words himself. And then once
So there's not men in
money,
tights, and there's not men there. There's not superpowers, and there's
Well,
not.
Batman, however, unfortunately, is a superhero. So, like, unfortunately, we gotta have a superhero for Batman. And if
But
you're gonna have a world
you
where
could
just have a
argue-
kid named Bruce.
You could argue this new movie is so grounded that he's not a superhero in this new movie.
Oh,
he's
I
a
would not.
dude. He's a vigilante in a suit. He's not a superhero.
I agree with that. This
I
new
would
movie
not argue that.
deconstructs his superhero status completely.
I think
So he
deconstructing is one
he
thing,
does
but saying
heroic
he's not
acts.
one is another.
He saves people heroically, but he is not a superhero.
Right.
I would disagree with
He
that.
doesn't
but
have all these nifty tricks and stuff. He's a dude driving a Kawasaki down the road. Like, you know what I'm
The
saying?
movie
Like,
doesn't even present him. There's no iconic the statuesque Batman. I saved God. No, he's
Well, it's year
always-
two.
Whenever they show
Like
Batman,
they're
it's
still
always
developing.
dude, he is.
There's
Oh,
always
I
a
could not
Christie
disagree with
Moses.
y'all more, but I
It's the
understand.
most well, what is your definition of a superhero?
Well, I would say, what is your definition of just heroic? Like what he was doing, everything
Okay,
from literally.
heroic and superhero are two different things. Liam Neeson in Taken is heroic.
So if
Those
that's
are
the
two
case,
different
then,
things.
If that's the case, then we're gonna have a
Jim Gordon
heroic
in Dark Knight
Gotham PD
Rises is
series.
heroic.
Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious is heroic. He's not a superhero.
If we're going by the definition of superhero for me, I'm reading it, benevolent fictional hero. Now that would be what I would consider this Batman.
No, he's not. That's what makes this movie so great. Is he's not a benevolent fictional hero. This could actually happen.
Yes, but then that means that you could have a superhero actually here, but we don't. But you could.
So if you're using that definition, then Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto is a superhero because the dude can fly a Ferrari
He
from one building
absolutely
to
is.
another.
It's
You
all
know what I'm
about
saying?
family.
Well,
So
then
that is
sure.
a flawed definition. It's
Family
a
makes
flawed
you a
definition.
superhero. Look it up. Family makes you a superhero.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, and
all
I would
about
call that
family.
more science fiction. So I mean, it depends if we're going to shift on roles on what it is or what isn't a hero or what is heroic.
I'm just
or what
using
it
your
is.
own argument against you about the Joker.
Kyle says
Well-
he is a superhero. He lives his life a
Who,
quarter
the
mile at a
Joker
time.
isn't a superhero.
No, but you said that it's not a comic book movie. That's not. You were using this whole argument. I just used your argument against
How?
you.
Because there's no hero in because
You
there
could
is a hero
argue
in
that
the Batman.
Joker. You could argue that Joker saves an entire population of sheep, into
How?
waking up and seeing what the destruction of these oligarch around them, and
I
they
see what
rise
you're
up
saying,
against
but-
them. He is in that movie a hero. He wakes
How is he
people
a
up.
hero? He's a chaos agent. He's not a hero. He's not waking
But
up anyone to do anything.
Look at
they don't do anything.
look at
There's
what
no-
happens.
What would be the crisis? What is the
crisis
antagonist
is
that they're
oppressed.
fighting?
The crisis is this oppressed people by the
And how
upper
does he save them
1%,
at the end of it?
because he
what
makes
happens?
them open their eyes.
And they're still oppressed.
No, they revolt. That's the whole.
They
end
have
of the
a
movie.
revolt, and that's not the end of the movie. I mean, that's the end. Like they start revolting, but it's not like they have the power back and everything. Like no, he hasn't
we don't know what
It
rectified
doesn't
anything.
tell you. It doesn't tell you what happens. The end of the movie.
So we
is
don't
they're
know
revolting.
if he's a hero or not. One
But
can make
what
the
I'm
argument
saying-
that that's not.
What I'm saying
out.
is that by his actions, whether they were evil or not, saved
a
an entire
big rock.
population of people. It's not a stretch. They
It
saved
kinda
an.
is.
No, it's not.
Uh,
No, it's not.
Yeah, it kinda-
These people were being impressed, and they
I'll
were
say
held
maybe,
under the
maybe
thumb.
the Joker in his own mind, he's a superhero.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
What
wouldn't
would
make the
have
argument
done?
that
In his
he
own
would be
mind,
a hero. Maybe in the hero of one story. Absolutely,
Okay.
I'll make that argument as well. But I would not.
So let's
take.
take it this way. Let's look at the Punisher, okay, or let's look at Peacemaker, right? They
The
go off
anti-heroes?
killing people. And I would say that the Joker
Is the anti-hero.
not as opposed to Heath Ledger's Joker or Jack Nicholson's, who are truly villains. In the Joker's own mind, Joaquin Phoenix, he is a hero. He is saving and oppressed people, no matter how delusional he is, much like Peacemaker.
So he's an anti-hero then, just like Peacemaker, just like the Punisher.
But yet, they're more heroic. But what he
But
does,
that
but
means
what he
the
does
edge.
saves yes.
So anti-hero.
No matter how delusional and how wrong his methods are, the end result is better.
Well, look, it goes back to the analogy that everyone is the hero of their own story.
That
So the Joker is giving you his story through his point of view, which
He's
is
no
twisted,
superhero.
which leaves you questioning the events of the reality of that movie. Was it what happened real? Was what happened took off in Joker's head? But at the end of the day, you are the hero of your own story. So therefore, Joker would be not a superhero. He can be looked at as the hero of that tale in his own mind, but he's not a superhero.
I'm just trying to equalize it for the movie I just saw yesterday, as far as the realism behind it. And you could, like, for
We can get
instance,
to
with
that
the joke.
in a minute. I want to know where the Dark Knight ranks.
I'll let y'all
That's what
do
I
it.
want.
I put an S. I thought I answered that question. It's an S for me. I'm just saying Corbin's argument is moot.
No, we'll get into that when we talk to Batman. Like, I don't.
Oh, strongly disagree, but we'll get into that. Because he's saying basically that we have superheroes all around us, but no one's doing what the Batman did. So therefore, as grounded as it was, it's still a superhero movie. So congratulations, Matt
hear
Reeves, for pulling
both-
off the impossible. But
I hear
he did.
both of your points, but here's what makes this an S movie for me. Up until this point, even in comics, the Joker had that feel. Like, if you want to go, like, even the Batman animated series Joker was very much the 80s, the Adam West era-esque Joker. Like, it was that he wasn't that, like, serial, sinister
clown prince.
killer. He was the clown prince of crime. Yes, he was the clown prince. You got the same thing from Nicholson. It wasn't until we got the Heath Ledger portrayal of the Joker in this sadistic, just real, like, doesn't give a fuck way. Like Ish said, taking food off people's plates, blowing up a hospital and making a joke about it, just this real sadistic way. That kind of pivoted, even in reaching the medium of comics, of how people wrote the Joker. It pivoted how Scott Snyder wrote the Joker. You got a more brutal, more vicious, more sadistic Joker,
And I loved every second.
going down the line now after Heath Ledger's portrayal of it. So wherever you want to cut it, I think this movie is an S just because of the effect
Cultural
it's
impact?
had on the culture. Yes, exactly. The cultural effect, like that portrayal, and it's going to go down. Everyone compares to Heath Ledger now. Like you get the comparison to Jack Nicholson only if you don't feel like it's good enough to compare to Ledger. Like, it's like Ledger, Nicholson. That's the
And
two
Mark
you get.
Hamill.
I don't even count Mark Hamill because he's just
man.
animated series. Like,
Yeah,
to me,
and then
it's
that's
separate. If you want to talk animated series, you can get into that. But talking animated movies, we can get into that because yes, nobody touches Hamill at that point. But as far as like this goes, it just is, man. You know,
I would argue without this movie, you would not have this Batman movie that we just watched, and you would not have the Joker. And that to me, these two movies are the best two Batman properties ever made in live action. Joker and the Batman are cream of the crop for me because it was so set, and that's what makes Batman so awesome is how real that character could be. Iron Man can't exist, right? Captain America can't. None of these other characters can really exist in real life, no matter how much money you have.
Batman can exist, Iron Man can exist.
No, because we've seen them try to reproduce the technology that Iron Man uses in his suit, and it's impossible right now. So yes, maybe in 20 years, 30 years, when technology, but it's not to that point.
I mean, when the grapple gun is being utilized with great effect, yeah. When I see the grapple gun and people swinging on the skies, you know, willy nilly, I'll be on the Batman train.
We literally have Batman flying through the air like Superman in this.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, with the that's a real technology.
Yeah, but it's not really done. Like it's stuff that can be done, but isn't done.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that nothing in this movie is outside the realm of possibility.
Well, I mean, what you're saying, the technology in Iron Man is outside of possibility. Like the technology, I think that the Batman has in some movies. In this movie, I think that was the most grounded we've seen. But even then, you're not going to see it. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to happen.
You're not,
like,
but it's not outside. What I'm trying to say is it's not outside the realm of possibility. Matt, help me out here, man.
I'm not saying until we see it, it kind of is though. You know, like,
you cannot put.
You can see a world where it happens, but we haven't seen it happen yet, so therefore. It's not here. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, it's so close I can almost taste it, but it's not here, so I can't taste it. It's not here. You know,
but think about Iron Man and Batman are not on the same level. You cannot have an arc reactor in your chest that powers an entire AI suit that's nearly skin tight, and have these. What do they call the things?
You're not having Batman here. You're not having Batman. You have like you're not having Batman. I just don't know how to say like it's out. Like I get where you're coming from. You're right. Like I'm not comparing
everything that
Batman
happened in this movie. You could go find it on YouTube. People are doing it.
You can find isolated instance of one or two people doing it. You cannot find like an everyday occurrence because it's not that.
But Bruce Wayne is a billionaire. If anybody's doing
a lot of
people like
Bruce
Wayne,
core champions can't do this night after night. Jumping from
Jeff
Bezos, obviously it's sensationalized, but what I'm saying,
either one of them,
it's not even him. Any billionaire, I'm not sure how many billionaires there are. It's not a thing. You could get one or two people that are dedicated to the cause to do exactly one of what the Batman has.
I'm saying,
Batmobile type vehicle, one grapple gun 30 feet into the air. Come on, Lance.
No, dude. Everything that happened in this movie, you don't look at like that's not possible.
Jeff Bezos is working on it, guys.
Oh my god!
Whether you think one guy could do it all or whatever, obviously,
it's not what you think. It's just not there. It's not possible.
This technology exists, Corbin.
I'm not talking about the technology exists. I'm talking about the means of it being done. It's not going to happen. Like
you are not understanding what I'm saying.
No, I'm understanding. It just doesn't make any sense.
I agree with that.
Okay. This begs the
question. When you are. Obviously, nobody is doing this, but what I'm saying is that if you look at everything that Batman does in a limited scope, paragliding through the city or driving a fast car, everything he did, everything is realistic. Is what I'm saying. It's not Iron Man's not. Plausible. You cannot put.
So the Punisher's realistic. Then. So the Punisher's realistic.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't mean. What are you trying to? What is your point?
What I'm saying is, it is so grounded. It is so grounded that these movies would not exist without The Dark Knight.
That night wasn't grounded though. Like it wasn't that grounded like this one. This one was better than that by a wide scale.
Corbin, to your point, if you want to be realistic, The Punisher is realistic because it doesn't take a lot to spray paint a
that's exactly what I'm saying. That's the argument, but I'm saying like
I'm just trying to say you cannot compare Batman and Iron Man because that is not realistic.
You can compare Batman and Iron Man the fact that neither of those things are real life right now. You can take aspects of them and say it's possible, but neither of that is real life. Yeah,
it's not like Iron Man is magic or anything. That's
exactly. A billionaire working on some type of machinery or whatever.
It's not there yet, but it's not just like
it could be.
That came up out of
it
nowhere,
could be just like flying cars in the Jetsons. Okay. It could be there. We don't know. What I'm saying is everything we saw in this movie that I watched yesterday, it exists today. It exists.
I'm just
except
not.
for the Batmobile.
That
Yeah,
suit,
there's
you
no
can go on
Batmobile.
North Face and buy those suits. The one that he floated through the air, you can buy it right now.
Yeah, and then see it actually being. I'm not sure what is the end game of that though?
People are doing it now in
People are
Hawaii.
doing
You
it.
can
I
pay.
get
You
it.
can pay money to do it in Hawaii. It
So
exists.
you can do it as a tourist attraction. You can do it as a one-off thing. You can't do it to save people. You can't do it from the police. Like, I'm
You
not,
are
like,
looking.
you're
You are taking my argument and
But
warping
people,
it.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
not using it against you.
those,
I'm doing just what
those
you did.
wingsuits are like people use.
What
those
I'm saying
wingsuits
is that
constantly
everything
to base
exists in
jump.
that.
Listen, he's right. You're gonna get that wingsuit. It does exist now. Does a version of it exist where it transforms from a cape down into like a
Obviously.
flying machine? No, it doesn't. But
Obviously,
the
but you
technology
don't have
is-
to stretch the imagination as far. Is what
Right,
I'm trying
but
to
But
Nolan
the
explain.
stretching
movies
still
were
occurs.
kind of
What
the
I'm trying
same.
to say, I'm not arguing the levels of it. I'm arguing that you have to do it. I think maybe I'm misinterpreting your argument because I'm thinking that you're saying you don't have to do it all. I'm like, yeah, you do. But if you're not
No.
saying that, then we're arguing semantics.
Here's my
I'm
argument:
saying
is
that every
is the
piece of-
Dark Knight better than any other movie on this list?
Not for me.
Okay, for anybody in the chat and anybody else in the panel, is the Dark Knight better than any other
I
movie
thought
on
we
this list?
answered that.
All right,
Yeah,
we
she's
talked
the
about
best-
the Joker. We talked about the Joker in Dark Knight, Heath Ledger.
The joke.
What
Yeah.
about Two-Face?
I thought it was horribly
'Cause
done.
I feel like we still have yet to get a good Two-Face story.
I feel like this Two-Face was better than Tommy Lee Jones.
That was the low bar.
Different.
That was the
I
lowest
liked him.
low.
It was
I
like
liked
a
him.
tease. It was tease face.
Yeah.
Yes,
We didn't
I
really get
liked
to
him
see.
because you see the Harvey Dent and the journey that he takes to become Two-Face. I liked all that.
And then we,
Okay.
but we really didn't get the other journey.
I'm about to say we got it way too
Right.
fast too.
It fell short on there, but what makes this movie so amazing
Is the joke?
is Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I see that too.
He, out of all these movies that are on this list, and including the ones that aren't on the tier yet, we have two phenomenal villains, and the rest of them are meh. Right?
All right,
You
speaking
have
of
the
meh-
Riddler, and you have Joker.
Dark
the
Knight
rest of them-
Rises.
What about Penguin?
I'm not going to put him from the movie I saw yesterday, and the Joker and,
Oh no, I'm
and
talking
Heath
about
Ledger.
like Danny DeVito Penguin.
Yeah, he's not on that tier though. He's the top of the rest of them. But Heath Ledger and Paul Dano are cream of the crop for me. That
Think of
movie
the crazy
was mind
Two-Face
blowing.
they can do in a Batman
Agree.
movie now.
Agree.
What?
They can do a crazy Two-Face now in these new movies.
I hope so, and I hope it's in real life, and I hope, like the Penguin kind of had it, like kind of that scarring and stuff. Like you could do that and make it kind of realistic. That's kind of what I was hoping they would do with Electro in the Spiderman movies, because we've seen in the games he kind of has all the scarring that kind of puts that scar in, like the start. It's more grounded a little bit.
Mhm.
I was kind of hoping we'd see that. You could do that with the Two-Face and not make it. That's the one argument I have about the Dark Knight is it was so bad that obviously that's not real. You can't survive. It reminded me of that Breaking Bad scene with fried chicken guy. What's his name?
Gus Fring,
Yeah, thank you.
Gustav.
You know what I mean? It was almost to that level. His face, the way it was charred like that, and it was so overdone that obviously that can't exist, right?
But okay, we are talking about comic book movies, so I could tell Lance what you want out of Batman comics is absolute realism.
because I
Is
get
that what
all
is that what
fantasy.
everyone wants? Because I was thinking yesterday, as much as I loved yesterday's movie, I'm like, I don't know if I want Batman to be as real, as realistic as possible. Is that the Batman I want to see?
Don't get me
Or what?
wrong. I want to see Ben Affleck continue. I want to see that. I'm excited
I
for the
would love
Flash
that
movie
too.
coming up. I want to see Ben Affleck continue because I love that. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is that if you're doing like an Elseworlds thing, like what this Batman movie is supposed to be, right? Joker was an Elseworlds thing, and this is an Elseworlds thing, right? If you're doing that, I see so much sensationalism when it comes to comic book movies. It was awesome to see something like this that was so grounded.
You think this is an Elseworld thing? I don't think
Not
it's an
Yeah, I was gonna
Elseworlds,
say,
but
I
it's like,
think- I think-
what
I
are
think
they
it's more
calling
of
it when
like-
it's outside of their DCEU?
Well,
what
I
are they
think they're
calling
No,
it?
more so
that's what they
saying
call
that-
it. Yeah.
separate
The-
continuity.
But I think
Some
they're
kind
more
of
so
Elseworlds
saying that
means like by Gaslight or
the
Dark Knights of Steel
DCEU
or something.
Well,
verse they tried to build shit to bed. So
But
now
they're still continuing because
they're
we're getting
pivoting out of
Aquaman,
it.
Black Adam.
Out of it. Like they're pivoting it to these different characters. Like if you're looking at Black Adam or Peacemaker, they're moving away from that because that's what the Joker showed them, is that people want these. They don't want the connected universe when it comes to
You
DC.
can't use Peacemaker as that because they bring the Justice League into
Yeah,
it.
that universe is all the same now.
And Wonder Woman is going to continue. We're going to get a Wonder Woman 3. We're most likely going to get another Aquaman. We're most likely going to get another Flash.
We are getting another Aquaman.
We are getting another Aquaman this year.
No, I'm saying in addition to that.
Oh, I hope not.
And
they've greenlit Wonder Woman 4.
Warner Brothers wants to be in the Jason Momoa business.
Oh,
I
yeah,
guarantee
for sure.
it.
It's smart.
We will get another one, and we probably get another
fucker.
one after that. They have some of the biggest, like Zachary Levi's a huge star right now. Gal Gadot's a huge star right now. Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, not so much yet.
Is Zach Levi a huge star right now? Because
He's getting there.
Nobody went to go see his new movie
because it was released on Christmas Day, and it was also when Spider-Man came out.
Well, if you're a big star, none of that should matter.
I saw that movie.
Well, you're a movie aficionado, though. I think
Kurt
like, in the
Warner
highest order.
story. Anyways,
I
Dark Knight
thought that
Rises.
movie was great, but he's much further along than his days when he was in Chuck. Is what the argument I'm trying to make. And Shazam, people did go see that.
Dark Knight Rises is an S-tier movie,
Yeah, but
right?
most people you ask who played Shazam,
I'm gonna say B.
No,
they don't know. They're like, I
I
like the guy. I don't know his name. He's not a star.
Or
yet.
just B across the board for Nolan verse.
No,
Yeah.
I can't put the Dark Knight Rises as
Give
S.
that man a B.
The Dark Knight Rises for me is a B. I did not like that movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a B. And a B.
It
is
had the
good.
worst
I like a B.
Catwoman of the lot too.
Dark Knight
It is.
Rises falls apart in the third act. Completely makes
The
zero
whole
sense.
Robin thing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, they completely shit the bed with that.
Kyle
they're
says
teased.
D.
Tom Hardy, they had to go in there and redub all his lines because you couldn't understand him in the trailer, and you still couldn't understand him.
No.
Dark Knight Rises is not good, in my
No,
opinion.
Jim Gordon in a city as big as Gotham. Jim Gordon runs around and checks every fucking garbage truck.
He
that
is.
drives by, and then finds the one with the bomb. Like, yes.
Also,
the
Talia
logic
was the
is
worst
there.
reveal ever. Everyone saw that
Yes.
coming. I'm not even a movie person, and I was like, "Yeah, it's Talia." Like, I mean,
you
it
seen-
was.
And it was too
before.
late too for the reveal. Like, reveal
Yeah,
the movie
it was.
over,
It
you
was
don't even get to,
obvious.
like-
Too late. Yeah, it was ridiculous. It made me laugh.
Is that the movie where she falls through the floor in the truck?
Yeah, but the worst death scene.
Have you seen that where she like dies and then wakes up and dies?
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me.
This
You know,
movie just-
because of that, I never went to go see another one of her movies.
She ruined it for you.
that performance in that movie made it to where I'll never go
You
watch
can't
another
blame
one
the
of those.
actress.
Oh
This
no, but
movie
I
gives
did
you that
see. Wasn't she
iconic-
Inception?
that iconic
Yeah, she
comic
was.
book
I saw
breaking
that
the
She
Batman.
died in that
dude,
too.
like-
Much better though.
What'd you say, Matt?
I said that movie gave you the iconic comic book moment of Bane breaking Batman's back, though. Like that was when that
But
happened.
that
in the
wasn't
comics,
Bane.
that was
That
talked
That wasn't
about
Bane to me.
like, for
Your
ages.
spirit or your body. And then you
Why?
go.
Because he wasn't a luchador.
Just some
Yeah,
dude
remember
that was
Bane
really
from
strong.
Batman and Robin had Bane.
Yeah.
But isn't that the grounder that you're looking for, Lance? Like isn't that what you want
It wasn't-
Bane to be?
He also held
think
the entire city hostage for 5 months, and we still don't know how.
Right.
Nope.
yeah, it just
Bomb on a
it's-
bridge, I guess. One bomb on one bridge. holds
Working
an
with the
entire
Riddler. for
city
some reason.
hostage.
Not the Riddler.
Tom
Scarecrow.
Tom Hardy sees himself as this like Shakespearean actor, and I just don't see it.
I think he's an amazing actor.
Like, he's a good actor, but
Have you
the
ever seen the movie
performance that
Bronson?
no,
There's
but
a
I've
movie
seen
called
him Lawless,
Bronson.
and he's great in Lawless.
And his performance in Bronson is fucking unreal.
I'll have to watch that one. But
Unreal.
he's a good actor, but in Bane, he tries to get like too artsy with it.
Because he's behind the mask. That's the one thing an actor like that hates is I'm behind this mask. So what am I going to do? How am I going to act? So you have
Yeah.
to like figure out something.
I just think
else.
it was
The
poorly
voice,
written.
The body.
Yeah, I just think it was poorly written. He looked more like he's wearing
They
that
might
fur
just be
coat.
a tough live action sell, just because it is a dude in a mask who just rages on adrenaline energy.
I
you
thought he
know?
was badass in the Schumacher thing because he looked like it. Like that's what I think. Bane, he looked like he jumped off the comic book.
Well, comic wise, yeah, but
Definitely
like
comic
realism wise, no.
No, it's not realistic. But
Yeah.
I would
Well,
argue
thought that's
that
what you wanted,
I would argue that Nolan's are not as realistic as some of the new stuff we're seeing.
Yeah, it's your
Well, all
mom.
we have
There's
is the Batman, right?
There's a movie where Tom Hardy sits in a car for an hour and a half talking on the phone, and it's crazy. It's so compelling.
Isn't that
He's a
called
really-
cell
he's a-
phone or something?
No, it's not cell phone. I forget what it's called.
That was
He's
a
really good. He's
trend
a
for
really
a
good
while.
actor.
You remember it started
That-
with like Deep
Oh, I know what
Water
you're
or
talking
something
about.
like
Wasn't
that.
that a continuation? Wasn't that a sequel to Phone Booth where you find out that he's actually talking to Colin Farrell the entire time? That's what that was. All right,
That's hilarious.
Batman, Superman. That's D, right?
Wait, what did we do with Dark Knight Rises?
Okay,
It's Dark Knight Rises went to a B,
What to be?
or
with the same place as Batman Begins.
no? Batman Begins is an A.
A. It's the same place
No.
with Batman Forever. You happy now?
Yeah, it's on the same level of Batman Forever because
Okay.
there's no way
The
Bane's
most stewing and
shitty
poo.
voice.
Oh,
You
see,
know-
I thought that so the screen was too small. I thought the one I was looking at in B was Batman Begins. I couldn't read it.
No. So
Yeah.
with Bane's shitty voice, even though with Bane's shitty voice and the shitty plot lines and all that, there's no way it's as bad as the Adam West Batman and Batman and Robin.
True that.
It's still a
So-
Christopher Nolan movie.
But Batman
With
v
all its
Superman,
flaws.
though.
Okay, so here's where
Is
I
this
struggle.
regular version or extended cut?
Good question.
I'm going to be that guy.
That's exactly
because
the
I think
argument
it
I was
makes
gonna
a
make.
Huge difference. I love extended cut.
Extended cut's really good. Well, I should.
I'll give you extended
Retract.
cut.
It's better. It's not really good. It's better because it
Extended
fills
cut
plot
is a B.
holes.
You think it's a B?
It's a B.
I think for the whole Martha thing alone, it's a C.
Martha.
I would put it C,
Say
but
her
simply I'm putting it at C because I can't have it at the same tier as Whedon's movie.
Dude, it's a C. It's a C for me because I went to an early showing of this, and like when he falls in the ground and then he's like lifted up by that circle of bats and all of that, it's just, dude, this movie was just bad. It's not the Batman v Superman you wanted. Like you wanted like that Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, you know, and
The one
I
they
don't-
teased in
But
I
I
Am
felt
Legend.
Yeah.
Affleck brought that Frank Miller look.
Elements.
Yeah.
Elements. I
Affleck
agree.
is the best part of any of these movies.
He brought elements, but I don't think it didn't pay off the way.
Yeah,
like
I don't look at like, oh, that's Frank Miller, Batman is personified, but there are elements. I agree that were there. Trust me, Ish, I was looking for that so much, and Dark Knight Returns is like my favorite. Like Gotham by Gaslight is like right up there, but Dark Knight like Returns is like the cream of the crop for me.
Well, that's considered one of the best, graphic
Exactly,
novels of all
and in my
time.
mind, rightfully so. Yeah, agree. Like you said, exactly. So like, I was hoping for it, and like there were parts of it, but like when I think of that book, I think of Peter Weller before I think of Ben Affleck.
And here's where
Peter
this list has
Weller.
got me struggling because
Wow.
do I think Batman v Superman is as good as The Dark Knight Rises? No. Do I think it's as bad as Batman Forever or Batman and Robin in the original Batman movie, the Adam West? No.
It's better
That's
than
why I
Batman
think
Forever.
all the Schumacher movies need to move down.
Like I think that
Like
this
each one.
needs to be moved to a D, and I think Batman and Robin needs to be moved to a D.
Okay, so here's now where I struggle.
What Ish doesn't agree. What,
Here's where I struggle. Justice League is horrible. Unwatchable. Pile of shit. You put Batman and Robin on the TV, I may sit down.
Batman Robin's fun.
Oh, he saw me.
But it's not. That's not telling a lot. That means that the rest, like every other channel, is showing infomercials. Okay, and I need something to watch, and that's the only thing I watch. Right? I'm on a deserted island, and I can either choose between Justice League or Batman and Robin. I'm throwing Justice League to keep myself warm in the fire. And I'm keeping Batman and Robin. If you know what I'm saying, like. So
What
it's
about
not saying a
BVS
lot.
or Batman Forever? You got to pick one on your island.
I'd rather watch
I-
Batman
I'd-
Forever.
I'd
Yeah,
rather watch
same.
BVS.
Okay.
'cause
I'd
We're
rather
talking
watch
about not the
Batman
extended cut. right?
forever.
We're talking about not the extended cut.
Forever.
Are we talking about the? Because I'll watch the
Yes,
extended,
extended
cut. I'll watch the extended cut before I watch Forever.
I mean, Batflick, yes, like it showed us that he was a good choice for Batman and made me want more Batman. He was the saving grace as Batman in that movie, but the writing's terrible. The plot just sucks. I don't know.
But the extended version is much better, and and I actually bought the extended version on 4K. Like, I have watched it a couple times.
But
I like
here's
that
my
one.
issue with that. At what point do we stop that with the DC movies? Because you're getting like the original cut of the Batman I read was like 6 hours long. You already got people clamoring for that. You got people release the Schumacher cut of.
Oh, you're exactly right.
Not the Schumacher cut.
Air
but
cut.
Release the air cut of Suicide Squad. Release
exactly right.
the Snyder cut of Batman. At what point in these DC movies do we stop with extended cuts and
When
all that?
Warner
Because-
Brothers
Until
gets the fuck out of the
theatrical
way.
cut is the proper one.
When Warner Brothers gets the fuck out of the way and lets these guys make the movies they want to make. Okay, 6-hour movie, that's stretching it. But if everything I read about
why
David
they
Ayers
just did it with the Snyder cut, does it? That's like a 5-hour movie.
yeah, it's not good. I don't like it. but he added a bunch of stuff after. Like, so that wasn't really his like a director's cut. It was like his redo. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really consider that
Yeah, it was almost
a
like
director's
remake.
cut.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
almost a remake. Yeah.
Ayer's cut, like if they don't let him film anything else and he pieces it together the way he does and uses existing, that is a true definition of a director's cut. Warner Brothers, if everything I read about that movie is true, Warner Brothers got way too involved, and that's why that movie sucks. They let James Gunn make the movie he wanted to make, and who here liked the Suicide Squad better than, or which one's the and which one's not?
It's the Ayers. The Ayers
The
one
is
is just
done, yeah.
Okay, who
Yeah.
liked Guns or Ayers? You know, they're light years apart from each other.
you know,
I get
there's
what Matt is saying though. That can be annoying. Like you get a movie and then they're like, "Well, this is the other version, and this is the better version." It's like,
Well, we've been having
but
director's
at the
cut
same
forever.
time,
We
I'm
had
not gonna
Ridley's.
complain on something being improved. If we're like, "Well, we had this movie. This is the improved version." I was like, "Well, I have to take the improved version. I'm not going to say no."
I just
stick
think
with
it's
the,
bullshit that director's cuts have to exist. That is just overreaching
you
from the
mentioned Blade
production
Runner.
studios.
It was
But
like,
You
also
hire a
have to
director,
Blade
let them do
Runner.
their job.
we're also to blame for that too as fans, because you look at the Suicide Squad. What happened to the Suicide Squad that changed it? Deadpool happened. So that's why when you get that movie, you can pinpoint it's two different movies. At the beginning, it's one movie, and then about the time they're getting their boots on the ground, it's a completely different movie in the Suicide Squad. Like, because they went back and they were like, all right, well, we don't like
Because of
this
Warner
cut 'cause
Brothers?
people are because they're like, people want that funniness, the comedy that Deadpool has. We're gonna bring that with Harley Quinn. So they went and I believe they had the person who cut the trailers recut the movie. So that's why it's like at one point, like the beginning of the movie is like the trailers, and then it
Disjointed.
switches.
Wait,
Yeah,
which
and
Suicide Squad are you talking about?
the Ayers one.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's two different movies, and you can almost pinpoint the time, the minute it changes tones.
Here's the other thing,
I
though.
agree.
The reason I don't have much faith in the Ayer cut is because of Jared Leto.
Well, I think that's all you're gonna get from the Ayer cut is you're gonna get to see more Jared Leto.
And,
I'll take-
and no
you know
matter
what?
what he does,
I'll take it.
I don't know.
I think if we get more Jared Leto, I think that character will be more appreciated.
How
instead.
many Marvel directors have come out and said that's not my cut of the movie? It's because when they're negotiating, Marvel says this is where we're trying to take the story. Make your movie.
I guess the only one who said that is Mickey Rourke,
Oh yeah,
because he says
he's
40
crazy.
minutes of Whiplash was cut out of Iron Man 2, and like he wants the Mickey Rourke cut.
Yeah. Where's the Rourke cut? I always
Yeah,
want some more
Rourke
Whiplash
cut.
in my life.
I have a hard time with Iron Man 2 because it was like when they were first starting. You know what I mean? Like it's so towards the beginning
Oh, I love
that
Iron Man
they
2.
hadn't really gotten their legs. If you look at everything that came out prior to Iron Man 2, like Iron Man was great. Like don't get me wrong, it was fantastic.
I
you
think
look
Iron
at
Man 2 showed they knew what they wanted out of these movies.
Yeah, I
Those
just think
sequences, the Grand Prix, that's so badass at the end
that
with
yeah.
War Machine and Iron Man back to back, taking on all the drones. Like that was bad.
Next time, baby. Next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a reason why you're getting all these Warner Brothers directors saying, you know, I mean, you haven't heard James Gunn say it because they let James Gunn do what the hell he wanted to do. right?
And look what it's doing.
And
for
look
him.
what it did.
But
The
I think
only
with
reason we have
Marvel-
director's cuts because these production
Marvel and
studios
Disney,
get too
those
involved.
directors are yes men.
Yeah.
No,
Only once in a while
can't tell me that you
you
think
get the James Gunns and you get those guys.
John
Kenneth
Favreau's and
Kenneth Branagh directed a Thor movie. I'm sure they didn't fucking boss him around. But then you get like the Russo brothers and Webb doing the Spider-Man movie. They just do whatever the producers.
I
tell
think
them.
the Russo
those
brothers
movies are directed by the producers, not the director.
I think the Russo brothers made the movie they wanted to make. I do think that. I truly do, because then you look at Cherry and you look at the way they directed that movie and you can
Sure,
see
and they
a
did,
lot.
and it was also the movie that Disney wanted.
I like this
I think
point
that
right
was
here.
a perfect pairing. They
Might not be saying any. They might not be saying anything until a movie tanks, because you haven't really had a Marvel movie tank.
Have you got
yet.
Black Widow?
Black Widow? I wouldn't say Black Widow tanked though.
I don't
It
think
wasn't
so
big.
either.
No, but they're poorly
Success,
received.
but-
They're poorly received. Black Widow, the
There's a difference
Eternals.
between poorly
Captain
received
Marvel.
and
and
not
tanked,
making
though.
money.
Yeah.
If they
Justice
make the,
League
Captain
made
Marvel
money.
made $1 billion. Are you kidding me?
Justice League made money.
Yeah.
Justice League made money relative to other DC movies, but that was like widely panned and not nearly enough of what they wanted. I would say the other movies kind of met expectations. I mean, Black Widow was pushed 2 years and came out during a pandemic at the end of the day. Like,
How
you
much
know, there
did
was a lot
Batman
of
versus
issues.
And
there.
nobody
Superman
wants
make?
an extended version of Black Widow. Trust me.
No,
Oh,
no
God,
fans
no.
are clamoring for that.
I didn't even really want the regular version of Black Widow. So
Yeah.
all right, well, let's.
I want to know how
Finish
much
this off.
Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman made $872 million, so close to $1 billion.
Well, is that
And we
just
got an extended
theater,
cut.
or is that? Are you talking?
That's
DVD
their
release?
box office.
That was the original run. Yeah,
It was a successful movie. It warranted the Justice League being made.
that was.
But
I
how
remember
much of that is hype driven though? That's the hype of Ben Affleck.
Okay, let's look
being
and
Well,
see.
the
Batman
hype of
Justice League
also,
had
remember it
hype.
came out, it had a 12% Rotten Tomatoes. And
Yeah.
it was like the entire world laughed at
But
that movie.
you-
Look at this 12% movie, and it still went on to make almost $1 billion,
True
despite
that.
everybody shitting all over it from day one.
So obviously other factors than the movie was bad because people still wanted to see for themselves and
This is
confirm their
Batman and
bias.
Superman, so fuck yeah, you're gonna go see it.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Justice League. Where are we putting Justice League?
Low as we
Justice
can.
League made $700 million. By all accounts, on a $300 million budget. By all accounts, it was a success.
So it broke even.
It was
Yeah.
successful. I mean, they were in the red. It didn't lose money, essentially.
No, you take the worldwide gross, you cut it in half, then you match that against the budget, then you got to add marketing costs.
You
They
got
probably
to take
didn't make
money
that
out
much
of it.
money.
I think you got to take money out of it because it can go.
That's
any
true.
way,
That
like-
can't influence our rankings, is the box
Right,
office.
and
I agree
because-
with that.
No, but all I'm saying is that I'm just putting an argument to Shane's comment. Okay, Black Widow did not make a lot of money because there was a lawsuit about it, right? Because they put it on Disney Plus.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
any,
also-
any other year, Black Widow probably would have done a lot.
I'm about to say, if it wasn't 2021, 2020 after
No.
pandemic, around pandemic, we might be
this
talking
is
a
what
different
I'm saying.
story.
You have
but
to
to
take
say
the
that
money
didn't
out of it.
influence it is.
Because
Superman
it's-
brought in droves of people. Shang-Chi made a lot of money and was well received.
What's Superman?
No, Spider-Man, I mean. Spider-Man made a ton
Well,
of money.
Spider-Man came out
Shit, one of the
this
biggest
past
movies
the
ever.
tail end. Like
Dude,
when
there's-
Black Widow came out was totally
in
different.
summer,
time.
last summer.
can't-
And then Shang-Chi came out 4 months later.
You can't
Yeah, 4
compare
months
those
is
though,
still,
because there's always
especially in the
heroes.
pandemic. I mean, a movie that came out in January and a movie that came out in the summer. I mean,
No.
4 months ago we were watching movies on just HBO Max. 4 months later we have a theater. Like a lot changed in the pandemic and month to
Yeah.
month.
Okay,
Black
well,
Widow-
Eternals,
Black
Eternals,
Widow
there was
and
2
and
months.
Tenet
Well,
were two
hold on.
Mhm.
victims of the pandemic.
Big time.
Tenet and Black Widow.
So
They would have
explain
done
Eternals.
Way better.
Well,
What is
hit
it
on the
for a
head,
success
too,
or a
though.
failure? Huh?
Eternals made about the same amount of money that I'm pretty sure is Black Widow. Let me double check on that.
Because that's
And-
the easy one
No,
right
it
there.
made
You have
less.
more people
It
wanting to
made-
go
it
to
made-
it. Yeah.
It made a lot less than Black Widow.
And I think a lot of that's because people went, "Who the fuck's the Eternals?" You know, like
No, that's
It
not
hit
true
it on the
because
head, though.
everybody.
There's always heroes
Who?
that are gonna draw more money.
because
than
I
others.
the
Batman
comic
and
people I
Superman
know.
on
I
the
mean, I can
screen
only go
together.
in my
That's
circle.
gonna draw
Nobody was
money
hyped.
whether the movie is shit or not. Spider-Man, he's gonna draw money whether the movie's shit or not. Spider-Man 3 showed us that.
Okay, so
To be
explain
honest,
Captain
you gotta
Marvel.
take money. You gotta take
Captain
money
Marvel
out
was
of
being
it.
teased at the time. You forget the marketing around that because I know even on Comic Playground, we were looking at how it was going to impact Infinity War and Endgame. So
But-
people tuned in
Let's
just for
put on our
that.
tinfoil hats and remember all the stories of Disney just buying out entire theaters to pump up the numbers.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, you got to take money out of it because if you sit down and you put it out there, we're gonna have a battle, Lance versus Corbin. Who's gonna eat a shit-filled cracker? I'd pay $10 to find out.
But only because the cracker
All
is
I'm
filled
saying-
with shit.
all
If it
I'm
was a
saying is
cheese-filled
that-
cracker, we'd be like,
Exactly,
I don't know.
because the
But I
cracker is
think-
filled with shit. If it's a cheese-filled cracker, nobody gives a shit. But
I think
because
you guys
someone might end up eating actual shit
Train
out of
wreck
cracker,
theory.
you're gonna
Train
pay
wreck theory.
$10 to
We wanna
watch.
But
see that.
I think you guys aren't hearing my argument. This is directly in, referencing what Shane said.
No, I agree. Yeah, I hear.
You cannot call Justice League and Batman versus Superman financial failures because they weren't, right? But yet we got director's cuts. So what I'm trying to say is there's a fallacy in his argument because they have Marvel movies that did not succeed. Iron Man 2, was not well received. You didn't have Jon Favreau saying, that's not my cut.
Well, how many directors or movies have Marvel done? Maybe it's a studio thing.
No, they've done 25 movies. What I'm saying is
No, I'm
Disney
saying
does not
like
get
how many
involved
have
the way
had the
Warner
freedom to
Brothers gets
say
involved.
has Marvel? Yeah, what I'm trying to say is like at least they've had the freedom to say, hey, we're going to put out XYZ cut. Where
think
Marvel were good, bad, and different. There's not been there's
Warner-
not been
I
any talk of
truly
that.
believe you have to remember Jon Favreau is not Disney's hire.
Listen, it all comes
Mhm.
down
True.
to the fact that the people
And Jon Favreau got
Marvel-
to make the movie he wanted.
Kevin
Go ahead,
Kevin Feige has been in charge of
Cool.
Marvel movies from the start.
Mhm.
So that's one man who understands the product, who understands the heroes, who understands what they're trying to achieve. DC doesn't have that, and I think they're desperately in need of that. They don't have that one guy. They don't understand their heroes. Their finger is not on the pulse. They're completely just misguided. They're throwing out movies.
Well, Snyder was
Because-
supposed to be that guy with this
Yeah, but-
unifying vision, and
Yeah, but they're throwing.
But
putting
yet
together
they still
movies.
Nobody likes-
obviously
nobody
didn't
likes
get.
him.
They didn't let him get to make his movies because that's when you get the Snyder cut. That's when you got the extended cut.
One reason we
Warner
get
Brothers
these cuts
is
is
way more
Warner
involved.
Brothers has always been one of the most artist-friendly studios. Warner Brothers coddles. They're big into directors.
Not
and
since
auteurs.
AT&T. Not since AT&T
Maybe
bought
not
them.
since AT&T, but if anyone's going to do stuff where they're going to let directors redo and stuff, that's always been Warner Brothers.
And that is
MO.
very much the case when it comes to Martin Scorsese directing his next Oscar contender. But when you're talking about billion-dollar movies, they have their hands in the cookie jars and they strangle their directors. That's why you get director's cuts. You don't get that from Disney.
Here's the
James
thing,
Gunn
though,
got
too.
to make the Guardians of the
Disney
Galaxy he wanted
strangles
to
them
make.
before the movie even starts. So
But
Old man Wayne wants to see
I
the
just
director's
think
cut of Suicide Squad.
I just think that there's a difference here because Jon Favreau was not Disney's hire. Iron Man 2 was not well received. Iron Man 3 wasn't even well received.
Here, let me put it like this, and you know a lot about the business, so correct me if I'm wrong. Movies are judged on whether they are a success or a failure by the numbers they put up in the opening week.
opening weekend, yes, correct.
Opening weekend judges.
It's all about opening
I
weekend.
want to say Batman vs Superman broke records, didn't it?
It might, but
I don't know if it broke
wouldn't.
records. It was
Opening weekend
I think it had
records,
a huge. I think it was the biggest for Warner Brothers ever
Mm-hmm.
when it came out.
I know
All
it
I
broke
know is, like,
something.
This new
Go ahead.
Batman, they're already bragging about how it's doing gangbusters, that it did huge numbers on preview night. So,
Why did Corbin leave?
I have no idea. I don't know if
He
he
said
lagged out.
No,
BRB.
but-
He said
But
be right
Matt Reeves got to make the movie he wanted to make. You're seeing a difference here. Todd Phillips got to make the movie he wanted to make. James
those are
Gunn
definitely,
got
like,
to make the movie he
director
wanted to
stamped
make.
Movies, yeah.
Because you can see their fingerprints in it. When I look at David Ayer's movie, that's not like any other David Ayer movie I've ever seen. When I look at Zack Snyder's movie, there's so much disjointedness. As much as I don't like Zack
Maybe
Snyder,
that is the Zack Snyder, though. I don't
but
know.
as much as but Sucker Punch is not a disjointed movie. It's not a good movie, but it's not a disjointed movie. There's a coherent thought through the whole thing. There's not really
I guess
big plot
300
holes.
is a pretty awesome
Army of
movie.
Dead, 300. Yes, you can see where Warner Brothers kind of manipulated things a little bit because they want to ensure success, right?
Yeah, but
I don't
how
know.
much
I
of
think
that
there's a
Zack
difference.
Snyder is you did Watchmen. We want more Watchmen. We want
That's
you to
right,
do this like
Watchmen.
Watchmen. Do this like Watchmen. This isn't
Watchmen's
like Watchmen.
a better movie than his DC stuff.
It is. Right.
In
exactly.
Watchmen, he completely
Yeah.
changes the end. He completely changes the end of Watchmen from what it is in the comics, right?
Yeah.
He
It's
completely
goes
changes
to
the
an
end, and
atomic
it's
bomb
still a
instead of
better
giant
movie.
Squid. But all right, where are we putting Justice League?
D.
D. I agree with D too. Ish.
I can live with D.
And this isn't even an argument. Is there
And
something
that's it.
above S?
Your mom says I want to see. Your mom says that Joss Whedon sucks balls. He ruined Justice League 100%. Watchmen is life. Dude, the Batman is S tier for me.
That's
I'm just
above.
gonna. It's S tier for me.
I'm saying A.
A.
That movie to me, as
I wish
somebody
Corbin was
that
here right now,
I
but-
think I'm a bit of a movie aficionado. You know what I mean? Like I watch a lot of movies.
I think
right?
you're a clown.
Shut up.
You're a movie clown.
It is one of the best movies I've ever seen. I walked out of that movie saying I can't believe some of the risks that they took. The slow burn that is this movie. Any other movie, it would have been a nail in the coffin for how slow it was. The opening, it reminded me of old Perry Mason, 1930s, 1940s, black and whites, like the beginning, or like that like Dick Tracy sitting in a bar, you know what I mean? Like, and he's like, it was a cold day in November, you know what I mean? Like it was so artistically driven. I don't know, I thought it was phenomenal. It's
a very good movie. It's an excellent movie, though. What you mentioned, one of the things that did bother me is the voiceover. I'm not a fan of voiceovers in movies, and the voiceover in this movie was drivel.
I do think that voiceovers in movies is a little taboo.
It's so
and
rarely
overdone.
works.
But if
So
you look
rarely
at
works.
Goodfellas,
is like one of the few movies where voiceover works.
But if you look at like detective movies and what he was trying to create, and like I grew up, my grandfather watched
That's
old
such a
black and
cliche
white.
for detective movies, though. Ridley Scott went out of his way to make sure all the voiceover was taken out of Blade Runner, which is totally a detective movie, because he felt the voiceover ruined it, and it does. It just this voice.
I think when you have a slow movie, like you couldn't have this movie without the voiceover. Like just think about the intro.
I totally disagree.
Just think
The
about
visuals
the
were enough. The movie presented enough. I didn't need that voiceover.
There were parts that without the voiceover that were normally 5 minutes that you could have done in a minute if it didn't have the voice. Just think of the intro. The intro alone is a true testament of this. Think of how long the intro is and the voiceover you're getting, how long that is. And if there was not that voiceover there and it was just some dude looking through a fucking microscope or whatever, binoculars or whatever.
I don't know, yeah.
It would have been boring as fuck.
I don't think so. It would have sucked you in. You're like, who's this? What's going on? You're looking through those glasses.
I think it would have too. I agree with Ish. I agree with Ish.
I think it makes.
And the other thing was they're looking at the fucking clues, and then Jim Gordon has to vocally repeat literally what I just read on the screen. Why don't I'm watching the movie. I'm obviously not blind and deaf. I don't need the character to read it out loud to me.
I walked out of that movie and told Max, because I went and saw. I walked out of that movie and told Max that my favorite part was the voiceover.
Really?
Because it
that was my
me,
least favorite part.
It reminded me of these old detective movies that the black and whites, like the old detective movies that I used to watch with my grandpa. When my grandpa could not understand a word of English and watch an old Perry Mason or whatever. And it was just like, I don't know, dude. I fell in love with this movie. This might be, to me, I think I liked this better than No Way Home.
Old Man Wayne says the Batman was a mix of Seven and Saw and Zodiac and The Crow.
Definitely
and
Seven was a major influence. I mean, literally, like the Riddler was Kevin Spacey.
So No Way
with
Home,
his fucking notebook and everything.
Oh yeah, No Way Home. You love it because of the nostalgia factor, right? This movie, everything that they did up to this movie is like, oh, I'm gonna hate that. Oh, I'm gonna hate that. I'm gonna hate that. Robert Pattinson said Batman, that's gonna suck. Oh, Paul Dano, his suit, that's gonna suck. Everything. Colin Farrell does not look like what I think the Penguin should look like, right? Everything was leading me to think that it was gonna suck. No, me and my internal monologue was telling me everything that I read up to this movie until that trailer dropped. And I said, oh shit, this might be pretty good. And then I watched it and I said, this may be one of my favorite movies ever.
Maybe your internal monologue sucks.
I just have I'm not a huge Batman reader. I've never been. Like, I've read a lot of the graphic, Hush and Killing Joke, and I've read all those, but I'm not a series reader like you guys are, right? Or I don't know about Ish, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
but
I read the current.
But Corbin reads the series and stuff. I tend to go to the Cacophony and The Long Halloween and Hush and Killing Joke. Like, I own all those. I've read them all. I love them. Watch the animated series. So I'm not as big into Batman as you guys are.
Well, that's pretty big. If you've read all that stuff, that's you're no.
But I'm not going to my comic book store. I'm not going to my comic book store every month to pick up the latest Batman. It's just not.
Sure, but most of the people seeing this movie, also the general audience, hasn't read any of the books you've read. So
Right.
you're already you're a tier above the GA.
See, I love this movie because I think it gives us the best version of what the Batman is yet. I love that it's mostly his detective skills being used. I love that you don't see a single batarang used in this. Like, it's all he's doing it all like
There's he throws the thing at the end. Yeah.
But I don't know if something this big could be called a batarang.
But he uses
it's a
it
foot wide.
I'm not gonna go to spoilers, but he uses it for a certain way.
He threw a machete.
Yeah, but I love just the sheer detective skill, like focusing on his detective skills. And
I loved it
instead of him just being just out there whooping ass, and I love the different storylines that you're going through in this movie and how they pay off. My downfall is that this movie was fucking long.
Yes.
And I equate it to like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, like where you're sitting there and you're like, all right, this movie's over. This is the end. And it just keeps going. You're like, all right, this is the end. And it just keeps going.
Man, I saw it at 11 p.m. last night. So by like that last 20 minutes, it's like 2:30 in the morning. I was struggling.
You're like, all right.
The difference between this one and Lord of the Rings is like, and this has always been my argument about Lord of the Rings. It didn't need to be so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of it is walking. Like, that's why I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. Like, I just think they're boring.
And as a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I was like, you know what? It needed to be longer because they left this part out, they left that part out.
Yeah, and Max is the guy that watches the extended cut.
Yes, I'm with Max on that. I'm totally Max
like
on that.
he'll watch a 6-hour cut of one movie, and I'm like, how the 3-hour cut was too long. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, this is fuck. But I don't have the affinity for the characters whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's not really a style of movie that I'm into. I'm not into that fantasy, elves and sprites and type stuff. But this movie, to me, like every single thing in this movie, like I felt like that was necessary.
Corbin's getting ready to unload. Look, he takes that deep.
No. I'm post. You don't want to know. No. I have nothing. I agree.
This movie may be my top 10 all-time favorite movies. I loved it that much.
Whoa. Well, don't you think you want to see it a second time before you say that? Lance, you've seen a lot of movies, my friend.
I don't know if I could name 9 other movies or 10 other movies that I like better than this one. Like, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know, dude. I walked out with the biggest smile on my face, and it's been a long time since I've had that in a Batman movie. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's funny. As much as I thought the movie was amazing, the last thing it made me do was smile.
Oh, dude. I wanted.
It was grim. It was dark, and it's not a criticism, but it could zero fun, zero joy in this movie.
Atmospheric. I love
whatsoever. But that was their goal, and they achieved it to a T.
I think that's what makes the Joker. There's not really that joy in the Joker, right? Like, because the Joker is so grounded and so gritty and so real and disturbing almost, but I've seen the fun joy Batmans. I've seen that over and over and over and over again, right?
If next year when the Oscars come out, if this movie is not nominated for best score, there's a problem.
Yeah,
because I feel like
did the score
in this movie.
There you go. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so solid.
I said after the movie, I commented. I was like, it did very well with like creating the mood and the atmosphere. But it's not like
I think the voiceover was necessary for that.
For the Tim Burton, it doesn't have that memorable score.
Oh, dude, I think the score in this movie.
I'm humming the score in my head right now.
Really? I think the score in this movie is perfect. It's set perfect. It really helps you with that feel.
Wait, how does it go, Corbin?
The boom, like what do you want me to say? Like humming now? Oh, you were trying to do?
Okay.
Oh, you were trying to do just a disservice? No,
Like when you first see the
it
Riddler,
says 4, boom, boom.
when you
like,
first see
in
the
my
Riddler,
head, I can,
they play that music and just like the score goes so well with this movie, and it's fantastic.
And the music was poignant. When the first scene where he was reading the diary, and you heard the score rise as 3 different criminals were like looking at the shadows and going, "Oh shit!" Like he wasn't even there. But
that was one of my favorite parts when all these people are doing these bad things and they're looking in dark corners expecting to see something and he doesn't come out.
On each of their it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
And then when he emerges out of the dark hallway thing, with the Darth Vader in Rogue One. Right?
Yeah.
And I love that
when it's the slow walk.
Yes.
You can hear the feet almost shuffle like, oh my gosh, dude!
It was, that was so
this
good.
movie was very punk rock for me too. Like, so they Matt Reeves, the director's Matt Reeves, right?
Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
Okay. He said his inspiration for Batman was Kurt Cobain, right? Which you hear Nirvana play several times. The same song several times. So they reprise it quite a bit.
Very emo. And
this movie felt very punk rock to me. It felt very like just the anti everything that we've known Batman to be. You know what I'm saying? It was a fresh perspective on a character that's been done many times, probably more than any other character this character's been done.
Here's the thing you got to remember. I hear a lot of people complaining about Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. This is year 2. This is 2 years into him being Batman. So I think the dark, broody Bruce Wayne fits perfectly because he's in year 2. So he's so overtaken, and succumbed and broken into this darkness where he can't separate himself from the Batman as the billionaire playboy. Like the whole persona of the Batman is so
he's not the billionaire playboy.
Right. Intoxicating to him. So
he's this recluse.
He's so into that. Like
he even said, I'm not sure if I'm doing enough. He's like, I'm not sure if I'm making a difference.
That he hasn't separated himself out yet to where he can separate the Batman and Bruce Wayne. So it's just like
it was perfect. No more telling that.
Sam makes a good point, the mental illness thing that they introduced. But I don't know if that's we're getting into spoiler territory here.
Yeah, when Matt said exactly what Sam said,
it's on the
Imperial March. Exactly. In fact, there's been some nice remixes with the 2 of those songs like played together. It's pretty cool. But no, I agree. And at one point he was talking to Alfred. He's like I am doing my father's work. Like he is not yet clear-cut focus on. He's trying to figure out what that mission is. But like it was. Oh yeah, I enjoyed it, man.
You brought up Alfred. I'm gonna say it. I think this is the worst Alfred in all the movies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can kind of
definitely.
Agree with
if I'm ranking the Alfreds, Andy Serkis Alfred is dead.
Is it the acting or the direction? Because this was a different relationship between Alfred and Batman than we've seen. Like. Certainly the most antagonistic, if you will.
Your father would not approve.
But also helping with cases, and he's like, "You're not my dad." But like, it was very antagonistic between the 2 of them in a way that we haven't seen before. I don't know if y'all know any comics offhand. I certainly don't, and certainly not in movies. So I don't know how much of that was just Andy Serkis's like acting or like the direction, because I think they did go a little different. Where
his acting was not bad, but it was just.
You think that this was worse than Gotham?
Gotham's Alfred?
I actually think Jeremy Irons is the best.
I like that
He's
Alfred.
the best Alfred yet.
Give me the one from Batman Forever any day of the week.
Because to me, the one in Gotham is not what I picture Alfred to be. Like
I agree.
War hero, and then they're trying to retcon it with Pennyworth. I don't know if you guys are watching Pennyworth.
Yeah, Pennyworth.
Lost interest.
They're trying to kind of retcon it and make it him like this badass war veteran guy. Like he was a butler. You know what I mean? Like it's just
it's the dichotomy of the Tim Burton movies and the Schumacher ones. You got the frail butler literally on like death
life support.
By
and I don't like that. Like I hate it when they did that with Aunt May.
How much help is that dude versus
right.
Jeremy Irons or the Gotham Alfred, who are like actual commandos. They know their tech. They, you know what I mean? They've
See, and I
lived
thought
in that
this was
world.
I thought this was in between the two because you do see this Alfred with a cane. you
Fucking
see
Kyle.
And he's with Vincent.
I mean,
You
I
see him
like
with a cane. You see him
Mhm.
kind of frail, but he has a mind. So you
His
know
mind
that
is
there's
still
some
there.
history there.
Yep.
I actually really liked Andy
It's
Serkis as
implied.
Alfred.
I like the Alfred best from the Batman comics. The one that's dead. But anyway, aside from that, yeah, I agree. Like,
I loved it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think
I
I
don't
thought
know
it was
if
a
I
different direction, but
I don't know if I have one negative thing to say about this movie, which makes it a really bad podcast.
I think my two
I
big
can't-
negatives were the voiceover and Alfred, and we never got like a bat porn shot of the Batmobile. I was so waiting for the Batmobile, and then
the way they brought in the
This
never
Batmobile
got,
was
like,
sick
just a
as
full
hell.
shot.
Though.
How did it actually look? from
This
every
Batman,
side?
this Batmobile is not sexy.
I thought
It's
it
like a
was
Ford
really
Mustang or a
sexy.
Chevy Impala with a jet engine on the
No,
back.
it's a
like
Dodge
it's
Charger, I believe.
The
I
way
didn't
they
know what
brought
it was,
this
but I'm
Batmobile
just-
in was so
Sexy as
sick.
fuck. They should have shown that shit.
The
off.
rumble
We
throughout
needed
the theater
more-
was just
We need more bat porn.
amazing.
Did you see it in Dolby, Corbin?
I saw it in IMAX and then I saw it in there. Yes.
Dolby
saw it
was
twice.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw it twice. I saw it Tuesday and then I saw it Thursday.
Nice.
It
I
was
saw it in the
wild.
new Cine One XL at Tempe Marketplace.
That was,
So-
dude. Wow.
So, as much as I love this movie, I don't know if I'll watch it again because it is fucking long.
Dude, I will let you know right now. I watched it yesterday again, and like I picked up some more. I was telling Matt before I came on, I picked up like a lot more. In fact, there was some really cool stuff. At the same time, I completely agree with you. Like by the time I was like, okay, I've had my fill. We were an hour and a half in the movie, and I knew we had another hour and a half, and I was like, and I know this movie's nowhere near done.
This will be. I mean, I'll watch it again probably.
Wait, Lance. You said
HBO
you're not going to
Max.
watch it again.
I don't know if I can go to
That
the
can't be
theater
your
and
top
watch-
10 all time. Your
No,
top 10
that
all
is
time
true.
Should be movies you see fucking
Without
hundreds of
question.
times
Here's the
over and
thing.
over.
That's a good
I'm calling
point.
you out.
Here's
I'm
the
calling
thing.
you out on
Here's the
that.
thing.
That's a good point,
Here's-
Ish.
Here's the thing. Let me explain myself.
All right.
This movie leaves you feeling so uncomfortable, right? Like I feel kind of like how the Joker was or Parasite. Like
Seven.
There's this uncomfortable feeling that you get throughout the entire movie, right? That's in something in a movie that can reach beyond the screen and make me feel something. To me, is worth putting in my
Well, every
in my
movie
top
should
tier.
be able to do that.
But there's movies that don't.
Something
right?
in the way.
Obviously, yes.
So like
obviously, yes.
so like Spider-Man No Way Home got me to feel exuberance, right? Like I was jumping out of my seat. I was so excited. So the director was able to reach through the screen and make me feel something. Joker, Parasite, Batman. Joker, I think I've seen it twice. Is one of my favorite. Like it gives me this. But those kind of movies speak to me, right? That make you feel. I love horror movies, right? Really good horror movies. We had this discussion 2 weeks ago, Matt, right, when we talked about Get Out and Us and how excited I am about Nope and how Jordan Peele is like this resurrection of what horror movies should be, in my opinion, right? Because his movies make me feel uncomfortable, and that to me speaks volumes to the directing artistry that was done in these movies to make me feel that way. Spider-Man does it by giving me a lot of nostalgic moments, right? It's not so much the writing, it's not so much the directing,
They
but
just
it's
gotta give you
those three
Spider-Man.
guys. Yeah, it's
that simple. Just give us Spider-Man and we'll take it. You know.
Endgame gives me Captain America holding Thor's hammer. It gives me the return of these characters that you thought you were dead. It gives me what's the other big clapping moment in Endgame?
What? Iron Man and Pepper?
When it ended.
Thor. I saw Endgame in theaters 12 times.
12. Wow.
Well,
And you're
I
complaining
saw
about this movie because Endgame is almost as long.
But
Yeah,
Endgame
it was
doesn't give
longer.
you that uncomfortableness. Like that's
It
hard to
certainly
sit
does
through.
not.
That's hard to sit through. I saw a Spider-Man 3 or 4 times. The latest one, because I don't feel uncomfortable sitting there.
I guess I made a robot. I'm a robot.
Marvel
This
movies
movie
are
did not
Disney
make me feel
movies.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the
Batman
90s
is
game was
not for
longer.
kids.
3 hours and 2
I
minutes.
go see them for different reasons. Like movies that make me uncomfortable, like that speaks to real skill from the actors, directors, from the writing. There is skill there to make you feel something that is fictionalized on the screen to make you feel uneasy.
But isn't that what's so cool about Batman is that this character has so many layers to him that you can in so many different sides that you can do different focused movies. Like you can do if you look at it, you got the Batman, the Snyderverse stuff. You know, you can focus on different aspects of the martial artist in him. This movie focuses more on the detective side of him. You know, the
superheroes cannot exist in this universe. I can't see Superman flying in with laser eyes at any point.
But that was the same with the Chris Nolan movies, though. You know, and he even said there will be no magic, no aliens,
that's true.
No fantasy, and he stuck
again, just like we saw with Bane.
This
it was
takes
very
that to another level, though.
Yeah,
but this is also Gotham City. If you want feel good, leave the theater, feel good, go watch a Superman movie, go watch The Boy Scout, go to Metropolis. This is Gotham. You're supposed to feel gritty. You're supposed to feel dirty. You're supposed to be uncomfortable. Yeah. That's what Gotham is.
Did Batman versus Superman? Did Michael Keaton's Batman? Any of those make you feel uncomfortable?
No, they hit all of those tones in this movie, like the detective.
Yes, Danny DeVito, Penguin made me feel pretty uncomfortable
because it's gross. It's different. Like you don't feel the uneasiness that holy shit, the main character may. Like something bad's gonna, you know. Yeah, what I mean?
Jack Nicholson in that he kills his henchman, he kills his boss. Like at any moment, like Nicholson could just turn to the person next to him and fucking kill him.
When Alfred explodes in the, I had to
what movie is that?
When Alfred explodes in the building, and it doesn't really tell you that he's dead.
The time displacement.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you that he's dead or not. And I'm like, holy shit, they killed Alfred.
I was like,
was a similar feeling that I had to Marissa Tomei, right? I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe they did that. You know what I mean?
But then they brought him back in the hospital bed, and he get to give a monologue from the bed.
Yeah, it's just when you feel those stakes, you know, I don't know.
I get what you're. I think I get what you're coming from. I didn't have that same feeling. I had that feeling that you kind of described, like a more visceral reaction when I watched Get Out. It was funny when you mentioned Marissa Tomei death. Like I remember people in the theater not thinking she died. I knew as soon as that thing hit her that she was dead, and we were just waiting for it to happen. And I knew, weirdly enough, when I first saw, I'm like, Alfred's not going to die. They wouldn't do that. Now, mind you, if they had done that, then I might have had the feeling you had, Lance, of like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But the fact that they didn't, I was like I didn't think they were going to do it, and then it didn't happen. I was like, all right, we good. You know what I mean? But if they had done it, I see what you mean. Well, yeah, when I was at the theater, I actually felt like it was weird because Batman at the end basically acknowledged that he needs to also be Hope, and I laughed. I said that's what Superman's for. But like at the same vein, like
Superman doesn't exist here.
Exactly.
But I like that.
But at the same time, him being Hope also takes away from me feeling very sad and uncomfortable because like you're gonna have a Batman that stands for more than just the grit of Gotham. So I didn't walk away feeling uncomfortable at all, you know?
Well, I had this conversation. I went and saw it with Max and his brother, and they were like, "Oh, it'd be so cool, Clayface." And I was like, "No, you guys don't understand. Clayface can't exist here."
Yeah,
because no, if they do it in a realistic way, a giant mud body cannot exist in this universe. It will not make sense.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, unless there's some drastic changes in the sequel, and if they do that, I'm going to hate this movie because they did that in the second one.
Why would you? I don't know. I get that. I don't get the logic there.
To bring in some sort of supernatural or magical.
Bring in the supernatural element, it's going to take away the roots of realism. Like
I feel like they can open the door to doing that because again, this is only year 2 of Batman's thing. Like if Batman had all that tech in year 2, it would be unrealistic. But I don't think they were. I think Matt Reeves made it very clear that he was going for a more realistic take. So
Clayface, as we know him in the comics, cannot exist.
Realistic, yeah.
Yeah, right. No, and I do think. However, I do think some of the gadgets and stuff that went from like, oh, you can kind of see it, will go next time into okay, I really can't see it because his technology is going to evolve. I mean, Matt Reeves even said that it was starting.
Maybe they take the Star Trek approach. Maybe they take the Star Trek approach where this technology doesn't exist, but it still to a point seems real. There's a certain sensationalism when it comes to Iron Man. Like the nano body or nanotech suits and things like that. Like there's a certain sensationalism where you'd like, I don't know
But it's still
how
grounded
close we
in
are to
some basic science, though.
Yeah.
And it may be too that I'm judging my opinion based on the surrounding characters of Iron Man. So maybe that is influencing my opinion a little bit about Iron Man. I mean, he has guys that take super serum, and he has a giant jade green giant, and there's all these other things around him that.
And
may
he's
be
the one guy
influencing-
that's not like that. So he's kind of like the Batman.
but it may
of
be
that group.
influencing my opinion a little bit, right?
The sad fact is, too, is if this movie made you guys uncomfortable,
Yeah, no, it did.
Feeling uncomfortable, you ain't seen nothing yet. When you know what's coming and who's coming in the sequel, I think this is gonna be child's play. Like I'm excited for that because I think you're gonna get. I don't know about the betrayal. I'm questioning the action of the betrayal, but when who's coming is coming, if they're gonna do it in this dark, gritty Matt Reeves universe.
Are you talking about the cellmate at Arkham?
Yes.
Are we not?
It's
So we're not
gonna
talking-
be.
I don't know.
Oh.
That was so.
I think that's a tease, y'all.
They
I think
have
that's a
to do
tease.
that.
No,
I also think
it's the
that-
actor. They've already casted him. Like it's been announced that he's cast as this.
Who
as
is
this
the
character.
actor?
The guy from Eternals. What's his
Yeah.
name? Matt. He has some interesting name. What's his name?
Who did he play in the Eternals?
He played Barry Keegan. He played the guy that can control people's minds in the Eternals.
Oh hell.
Druig. Wow. So that's
Yeah,
official.
Druig.
He
Yeah,
is
so-
the Joker. So we're
Yes,
getting
he's
a
already been
whole
cast.
brand new Joker.
So
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
So Matt, you reminded me of something that I can give a negative to this movie too. If he is in fact the Joker, which every indication is leading me to believe that he's the Joker based on, news and stuff like that, right?
And the laugh.
I
The laugh
did
is
not
the
like
key.
his voice, and I did not like the laugh.
Yeah,
I thought it was the Maze Runner dude. When he started talking, I was like, did they cast Dylan O'Brien as Two-Face or something? Like, I didn't understand what was going on. I thought it was Dylan O'Brien's voice.
So
Because it
apparently,
does not sound like the Joker, and that's bad. If someone speaks, and I'm like, oh, that's the Joker, that's bad. Like, you should instantly recognize the Joker, no matter what take is put on it.
Yeah, so he said, Matt Reeves said that as the killer in the story is not yet someone the characters come to know. He says everyone's in their infancy, so in the comics, these characters often declare their alter egos in response to the fact that there's a Batman out there. And so in this movie, we have a Joker who's not yet the Joker.
Which leads me to worry because they tried that shit in Gotham and it was god-awful.
Yeah.
And that's just such a Marvel thing. End the movie with a little tease of the next movie.
I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, this shows you
tired
at all
of
that at the end of the day, it does show you indeed that it is indeed a comic book film because like they did everything so well, and then at that point right there, I did laugh. I was like, "Oh, don't do this."
Yeah, if I
So
had
I
one
knew
complaint, it would be that
it
ending
had
in
to
the-
happen
in the jail.
It had to happen
It
for it
was-
to be the movie it was going to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it pushed the genre, like you said, Lance, to just new bounds. But at the end of the day, it is what we thought it was because of the fallacies of that. You know?
Hey, the chat is getting upset that we're ignoring them. I'm just FYI.
I'm just, yeah.
They're not saying anything.
And that's on
revolutionary,
purpose.
So, yeah. Say something worth mentioning and we'll mention it.
Actually, Sam did make a good point. If Clayface could be like a commentary on like Botox and plastic surgery.
Yeah. If they root it in something real, then it could work. Because Max was saying, "Oh, they're gonna do Hush," because there was that little tease of the word Hush across the screen, right?
He
And I
also
said, "Well,
said-
Clayface is a major part of Hush," and
Real quick, Lance.
Matt did
apparently-
like that.
Reeves said that in order to ground his film in a heightened reality and to differentiate his Joker from past screen versions, Reeves opted to give his proto-Joker a biological condition for the smile.
instead of a slit like what.
Yeah, exactly. There's something he wouldn't go into what the condition was or say it's a real one. There is a developmental condition called Angelman syndrome that makes people afflicted with the frequently smile and laugh.
Which makes
Well, it's
sense
kind
because
of
the
what
dude was
Joaquin
dropped
Phoenix
in a
had.
vat of acid. Like he's
Joaquin
been,
Phoenix had
he
the mental
plays
illness
with,
where he couldn't laugh.
yeah.
Yeah, so Reeves is doing something similar to that, I imagine. Then I guess there's something there, but whatever.
It makes sense for the character because the dude like plays around with toxins. That's his whole thing is to like make gases and all this shit. So it makes it sense that he's got some kind of
Test the
like
laughing
chemical
gas on himself,
explosion. Yeah, that like blows up in his face or something.
Well, there
like,
you go.
it
Interesting.
makes sense. Like I think the Joker works amazing in this universe. I'd love to see Two-Face in this universe. Hush down the line, but this movie is there's nothing in this movie that I picked up on, unless I'm wrong, other than the word Hush, that you can connect to Hush.
Yeah, I really had nothing from Hush. Yeah,
there's
No,
nothing.
it was
from
just
Hush there.
no. All I was trying. I don't think that that's where it's going either.
And
Max and Michael were alluding to was that one scene where they're watching like a video or something that said "Hush" across the screen. And I said, I don't think that that's what.
I think it
all
was a nod. It was a nod. It was a shout
but
out.
I don't think that they're
Little Easter egg or
teasing.
something.
I don't think they're teasing anything.
there's a
I don't
line
think
of
they're
dialogue
teasing
that clearly teased the Court of Owls, right?
Yeah.
We all
Well,
caught that.
and
When they're
so
saying, oh, there's
that's another
something
one.
bigger
I would love to
behind
see the
this,
Court of
you know?
Owls.
So
Yeah.
Hush is Thomas Elliott, right? Tommy Elliott.
Yeah.
The reporter that was killed's last name is Elliott.
Mhm.
So the connection that Max was trying to make was maybe this guy is Tommy Elliott's father. So
Who?
there's the
Who's
reporter,
Tommy?
the reporter that
no.
Falcone killed. Well, he has the same last name, and all those things are always intentional in these movies, right? You don't name somebody with the last name of Elliott unless you're trying to equate him to
I think
something
it's
that
just a
exists.
name, and you guys are trying to connect dots that aren't there.
Well, and then that's what all these movies try to do.
It would make more sense.
Lead us down a different
It's-
way or whatever it could be. I'm just saying that there's
The Court of Owls makes more sense than anything else, because how is Riddler getting his information? How is this being fed to him? How does he know all of this? Who's behind it? Like, the Court of Owls makes so much sense. I would love to see the Court of Owls in the movie.
The fact of the matter is there's a lot of directions that this movie could go. I think that they could adapt Hush to a point of giving Bruce Wayne a childhood friend that, you know what I mean? Like that Tommy Elliott story. I just don't know if the Clayface part of Hush.
But the Tommy Elliott stuff, and I saw Sam put in the chat that Hush is all about the villain's childhood connection to Bruce Wayne. It's really not. It's about Elliot's connection with the lies from Thomas Wayne. Like, that's the only really Hush stuff you get out of it, is the Thomas Wayne spin. That's
but you don't
but it
think
just-
that there could potentially be some person out there that maybe Bruce Wayne doesn't even know that these two people are related, that he had a childhood friend,
point,
that there could be this character introduced?
At year 2, I find it hard to believe that they're referencing Hush.
Well,
That's just
Same. I agree.
he kind of comes
Although
out of this movie with more of a superstar status, right? I mean, he's on the news and there's like this affinity from the public to Batman, and he leads all these people out of the water. So he's gonna obviously his national recognition is gonna grow, right? By this event that happened.
He was never. Am I correct that he was never actually, other than "I'm Vengeance"? He was never. Nobody says the word Batman, right, in the movie.
He
Nobody
does.
calls him. Does he?
Yeah, he says I'm the Batman to Catwoman.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
I
then
heard the
she
bat and the
says-
cat.
Yeah,
Was that the only time he actually?
I think that
says,
was the
"I'm-
only
I'm
time.
Batman"?
no, and
Because they call
Commissioner
him
Gordon
Vengeance throughout the movie. They just some of the characters just go adopt.
Gordon
him. Okay,
references
your name's
him as
Vengeance,
Batman.
yeah.
Gordon
Mhm.
references a Batman when they're trying to figure out the rat with wings. He's like Bat, and he says that you're Batman,
Okay.
and then every single letter that the Riddler writes him says to the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So there is
So it's there, it's established, just wasn't used. And I think some of that was intentional too, because again, even when he made that kick-ass scene intro, and the villains, they started laughing. You know, like he struck fear in some, and others he didn't strike fear. You know, he's still kind of gaining a rep. When he got the door shut in his face each time at the club, like, you know who I am? Yeah, you still can't come in. They don't care. You know what I mean? But then, like,
and he beats ass, right?
with the
'Cause he's
movie,
new.
exactly.
The events of this movie, I think, are going to elevate him, and once he's
Absolutely.
elevated, then Thomas Wayne could potentially make an appearance, or not Thomas Wayne, Tommy Elliott, right? Once he
You're
gets
really
that,
focused on Tommy Elliott.
right.
I do
I don't
think
think.
there's a connection.
I'll be honest with you, Lance. I don't think anyone gives a shit, and I don't think the movie's going to go out of there saying like, we got to get Tommy Elliott into these scenes.
Yeah.
No, but I
they're
do
thinking
think
about,
I do
you know,
think Matt
Joker,
Reeves.
Two-Face.
I do think Matt Reeves, if he is adapting stories, I think he's going to gravitate to stories that possibly haven't been adapted in live action. And Hush could be a legitimate property that he could adapt. The Court of Owls was done in the TV show, not well, mind you, but it was done. Like all these things were kind of done before. I think that he could potentially be, steered towards some of these stories, that aren't too well known. The Hush is not that well known of a story outside of the comic book community. I'm just saying it's not outside the realm of possibility. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But I do think that they could introduce.
If you remember when this first movie was announced, it was announced with that is the first part of a trilogy. And it's very much following the lines of Long Halloween, to the fact that the damn movie starts on October 31st.
Yeah, that's pretty explicit.
So it's following the events of Long Halloween, and so it is a mashup. There are other elements here,
and certainly the elements of Frank Miller's year 1 and year 2.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. Frank Miller's year 1, year 2. Scott Snyder's 0 year with blowing up the city, like the flooding the city. There's lots of elements here. So I just out of everything that everyone's compared it to, I think Hush is the least likely. It's like that they're
I'm not trying to say that this is
because I think Matt Reeves actually mentioned Hush though as one of he mentioned Halloween, Hush in year 1 as
All I'm saying is that there are two things in here that could lead a regular person to believe that Hush is on Matt Reeves' radar.
I'm sure he is. Like this world is perfect for him, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
Doesn't mean he's gonna, if it's that's a trilogy, what he's adapting. He might just take little elements.
Right. Yeah, I agree. He's probably going to take little pieces. But I do think that if he wants an epic conclusion to his trilogy, that in the book, I mean, the crap that Hush puts Batman through is pretty epic. That could be a good conclusion to his trilogy.
It's just that the movies like Batman, Long Halloween, Hush, they all have similar storylines. That's the thing too. It's like it's always this one villain that you think it is, but it turns out to be somebody else in the end, controlling everything. Like they're all very, very similar storylines.
Hello, Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I don't think any of these movies are going to be a direct adaptation of one singular book. I think that it's going to borrow.
Might be better off trying to figure out their own story.
Well,
originality never hurt anyone.
What I don't want them to do is saying this third movie or this second movie is Hush, and then you watch it and you go, "The fuck was that?" Basically, is the reaction I got from the animated show, right? So I don't want them to do that. Or The Killing Joke. We are going to adapt The Killing Joke into an animated Batman movie, and then they release a pile of dog shit. I do not want them to do that. If they go in the next movie, like the next movie is going to be The Killing Joke, and they do the same shit that they did in the animated movie, I'm going to be pissed. So I like the idea of taking elements but not completely bastardizing the source material.
Do you think in this new series we're going to see stuff like a Robin?
I actually think you see
Batgirl.
I think you see Robin in this. I leaned over to Aaron, and they put a lot of emphasis
on that
little kid, the little kid.
And I wasn't sure if
too. I was like, is that Robin?
They put a lot of emphasis
that,
on
or
that.
If he saw himself in that character.
Yeah, I thought it was more that too.
It was more about a mirror of himself than a potential Dick Grayson story.
Allegory.
I don't know if I really want them to change the backstory of Dick Grayson. Do you? And I don't think he's ready. If it's year 2 and there's not like a time jump in the
Circus Trapeze Act, that does not.
Yeah, they could adjust it a little bit, but to be in some sort of performance profession, right?
He's coming because they mentioned Bloodhaven in the movie. So because Selena Kyle mentions Bloodhaven, Nightwing's coming.
See, I do like.
Well,
so
we
is there going to
Robin
be
before we have Nightwing? Come on, right?
Yeah. So is there going to be a time jump between movie 1 and movie 2? Like, I don't understand.
I'm just saying,
it's possible. I don't know.
If you're going to connect dots for Hush, I could say the same thing about Nightwing.
I mean, Pattinson's early 30s, so a jump wouldn't be out of the realm of reality.
We are all within the realm of speculation right now. There's no concrete evidence. There are a ton of roads that Matt Reeves may lead you down on that are dead ends. You know what I mean? Like, he may have just put the word Hush on the screen to make people like my dumbass friend Max think that Hush is the next movie, you know? So, and I could say that because Everybody knows Max, and he knows
I
I'm
think
kidding.
I think it's what he wants. He wants speculation about what's coming. He
Yes,
wants
and
that buzz because we're
the
doing
best kind of
exactly.
movies.
We're creating buzz for the sequel. We know it's coming. It's already been announced. It's coming. We're creating buzz for the sequel a day after the day of the movie officially released.
The movie is good enough
Yeah.
of itself that it's such a good movie. You're like, yeah, I want to fucking see another one. I don't need all this Marvel type hype and teasing
exactly.
and-
Yeah, and that's what I was going
movie
to say about
speaks
the
for
end
itself.
credit scene. That end scene with the Joker
So necessary.
didn't need to exist because this movie is strong enough on its own without that scene to make me want to go see a second one.
Absolutely.
So if I had one knock, it would be that whole entire end scene.
How sick would that be if we were being led to it's a Joker and it's non-sexual like
That's-
Two-Face or somebody
That's
else?
what I'm thinking. It'd be funny if it was just a big, it'd be hilarious.
Kind of like Joker from Gotham, right? He
Yeah.
was always
Yeah.
teased
I don't think-
and then never became Joker. And then
He's
but
Jerome.
what
more
was his
well
name?
done because I feel like this will
Jeremiah?
have a plan.
No, I don't like because I had that discussion with Max. I said, from the look of what you could see of his face, it didn't look like Joker. It did look like Two-Face, but
It did not look
if
like
they don't
Joker.
adapt the Harvey Dent storyline and introduce Two-Face without that Harvey Dent thing, I don't think it's going to hold the same weight of Gotham's, child turning to a, you know what I mean? Then you have to talk about, maybe they get the back to tank and they have flashbacks. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, guys, this is approaching my bedtime.
Yeah, we've been at this for 3 hours. I didn't mean for it to be this long, but it was a spirited conversation. So, final thoughts
Hey,
on
it's a
on
Batman movie. We're
is.
absolute geek. This should be. We could talk
It
about
is.
this for fucking days.
I
bro.
did. I
Yeah,
can't,
we-
and I could keep going.
We've
but, like,
surpassed the Batman's runtime.
I'm got a screaming kid. The fiance's texting
I
me,
wasn't
"Hey, are
even
you
going to
be
come
done
on
yet?"
tonight. It was
Yeah.
my birthday yesterday. I was going to be out tonight.
Happy
man.
birthday. Yes, sir.
I was going to be out all night, and then I came home at 8, and I was like, oh, the guys are on. Max kind of bailed, so I should go on.
Happy
Guys,
birthday,
in the
man.
last
Coming
4
through, dude.
months, we've got a Spider-Man movie and we got a Batman movie.
Great
Those are the
Spider-Man movie and a great
tentpole-
Batman movie.
Tentpole characters,
Yeah.
and both
You know what's next, right? Great
Both have hit
Morbius.
home runs, so this is
I'm
a
kidding.
glory time for us.
I am really hoping that Morbius is good. I really hope because Jared
I don't
Leto
think
needs
it
a
will
little
be.
bit of redemption. I don't think it will be,
I have
but
very
I'm
low
hoping that
expectations for
I'm
Morbius.
hoping that I'm surprised. I'm hoping that I'm surprised. He looks cool.
So, final thoughts on the Batman.
I love it. I would say go see it.
Highly
immediately.
enjoyable movie. I would highly recommend. Absolutely.
It's a shame that it's not getting the same amount of tickets for Spider-Man were damn near impossible to get. Do you guys remember? For opening day, damn near impossible. I bought my tickets for this last week. Opening night, 3:00.
Wow.
Well, this has also had opening shows since Tuesday, so they've been a little bit more spread out since.
I think people held back until some of the reviews came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot
a lot
of
of
distrust
trepidation
when it
about
comes.
this.
Yeah, that's a perfect.
I'm
word
glad
for
that
it, Ish.
Ziggy is picking up where Kyle left off. Batman is real. All right, so
You know
instead
what I
of
love. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. I was going to transition, but go ahead. Say it. Go.
What
for
I
it.
love about this movie, and okay, so I'll say this: it is not my favorite take on Batman. Right? We went over this 3 hours ago. I still love the Tim Burton stuff. That's my wheelhouse. This is a fantastic movie, very, very well made. Complete, definitely a new take, dark, gritty take. And I love. We're at the point now. We have it with a lot of different stuff. We have 10, 12 Batman movies, like a buffet. And I think Matt mentioned that earlier. If you want, you could have, I'm in the mood for dark Batman. I'm in the mood for fun Batman. I'm in the mood for this Batman. We have the selection now is out there. So I love that. And this just gives another option, another kind of Batman story, and a very good one. Not my preferred one, just because it is so fucking dark and grim. The 2 words I cannot associate with this movie is fun and joy.
It's a completely.
that, the Batman.
fresh-
I like
buffet.
that though for the bet. Yeah, I'm
the
glad you
Batman
said
buffet.
that. I'm glad Batman buffet is perfect. If I want a classic,
That needs to go in the
Batman
podcast.
Forever.
That needs to go in the podcast Description: come join the Batman buffet.
The
The
Batman
Batman
buffet.
buffet. That's a good
Kids
one.
eat free.
No, I know
movie-
you can't let kids into this one. I would not.
No.
take a kid to
No.
this one.
My
This
son
would
was
be-
like, "Dad, you're going to see the Batman movie without me?" And I go, "Dude, he's 7. You're
Dude,
not
there was
going to see
kids
this
in
movie."
my
13,
showing.
and it
We had a
skirts that
newborn child.
13 line.
We had
It
a
is.
baby.
It is on that line.
There was
the
like a
PG-13.
4-year-old in my showing, and Aaron even turned to me and goes, "Somebody brought their fucking kids to this movie."
Okay, you
Like-
think that's bad? There was like a 5-year-old in Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is
that's-
wrong
that's-
with these
that's
people?
right.
Should have their
At the
kids taken
shop,
away.
We have 7, 8-year-olds that come in with the parents. They're like, "Well, we're looking for comic books for our kids," and I'm like, "All right, Spider-Man, Disney." They're like, "We want Deadpool and Venom," and it's
Good
because
luck.
they
Yeah.
saw the movies.
Future serial killers.
Yes,
that's when you're like, "That's cool and all, but here's
future
Saga.
sociopaths.
Check out Saga."
I
I
want
wouldn't
them
even
to
give
make
Saga to the kids.
I want them to make a Once Upon a Deadpool Part 2 so I can show my kids because he will not leave me alone about Deadpool 2. It's the only way I'll let him watch it. He's not old enough.
But yeah, all right.
So-
So moving on here, if you've seen the Batman, if you made it this far in a review and you've seen the Batman, and you want a little bit more in this universe, I put together a couple stories that you can kind of go off of. And Ish and Corbin and Lance, feel free to jump in if you have something to add. Batman Year One is an issue you could look at because it's serving as an original for the friendship and budding partnership between Batman and the honest cop Lieutenant James Gordon. Year One shows the journey of Bruce Wayne from an angry young man to a costume vigilante, very much so what you kind of get in the Batman. Finding his strength and confidence in the guise of Batman, while Batman's usual rogue galleries is absent, the book gives a powerful description of young Wayne's drive, dedication, and pain. So you get a lot of that element in the Batman, like Ish was saying.
Speaking of, real quick before you proceed, because you just said it there and we didn't even talk about it once. Did you guys like Commissioner Gordon in this movie?
I actually loved Commissioner Gordon in this movie.
We didn't talk about that at all.
He's probably my favorite Commissioner.
I didn't
Gordon.
like that he had to repeat everything we like read on screen, but he was.
There is a way to do the
Jeffrey Wright
voiceover
is
to
such
not
a
make
great
you.
actor.
Oh, have you seen
such a
Westworld?
great actor.
He's like one of my
Westworld,
favorite parts of
Felix
Westworld.
Leiter in the Bond movies.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I guess you could say about voiceovers. If they could find a way to do it to not make you feel stupid. You know what I mean? I don't know. Continue, Matt. I'm sorry.
Are they making you feel stupid, or are they just pointing out the
No,
obvious?
but just by what Ish was saying, just like you're reading it on the screen and the voiceover is saying it. And it's
Yes,
like, wait, I
Kyle, Frank
just
Miller
read
is
that.
real.
You know, so I can see what you're saying there, Ish. I loved it, but I can see your argument.
And that's just
Batman.
a classic cinema trope. I think sometimes directors can't escape
Specifically
from
with
crap
detective
like that.
movies.
Yeah.
Batman Long Halloween for reasons we already pointed out. This is very much a transition. You get the full story of Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face. Batman Ego.
Yeah.
Batman struggles with his
No, I
own
haven't
guilt
read
after
this
the
one.
low-level crook
It's
commits
so good.
suicide before his eyes. Blaming himself for the criminal's death, Batman contemplates giving up the cape and cowl. Alone in the Batcave, Bruce Wayne is confronted by his
Some
worst
pretty
enemy,
dark
his own
stuff.
inner darkness.
So good. You darn Cook didn't do a whole lot of Batman, but Batman Ego is one of the best. And that whole, like you said, that whole story, beautiful.
That art
Beautiful.
looks really
Dude,
different.
it's his inner representation of the Batman. Like it's
Yeah,
Bruce
it's
Wayne
very dark.
talking to the Batman, and that being the Batman. It's really good.
When was this released?
I want to say mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's an
I
older
think so.
book.
Yeah, it's been around for a minute. It's not one that, I mean, for me, it's one that best describes, like, it's not my favorite Batman story, but, like, it's one that best describes, like, the Batman mythos and how he deals with it. It came out in the year 2000, exactly.
So
But-
if I go buy this on Amazon right now, I'm not going to be disappointed.
No.
No,
I
it's
would
a
try,
fantastic.
I mean, it's a collection of all of his work, so Ego and Other Tales is, like, other Batman work that he's done. Your miles may vary. If it's just Batman Ego, just grab Batman Ego. You will not regret it. I loved it. I mean, even the way, like you said, it starts off with the criminal committing suicide in front of Batman's eyes, and he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh,
Holy
dude, I
shit,
did this."
The hardcover is
That's messed
$100.
Yeah, no, it's the artwork is beautiful, but the story is what really got me. Because you're right, he's so single-minded on his goal that he goes to get the criminal. The criminal's like, "Listen, I'm not turning myself in. Like the Joker would kill me and my family, but it's okay because I already killed my family." And now I'm gonna kill myself. And then like Batman witnesses that, and it just sends him into this story. It's really good.
Fuck, man, I usually like to get hardcovers, but it's $26 for a paperback or $100 for the hardcover.
Nah, it's not a book. Yeah, it's a looker book. It's not one. Nah.
Joker's
That was nice.
Asylum Penguin basically goes through the lives of like we were talking about Penguin and also Cobblepot coming up from nothing to be the crime lord. He ends up rescuing a young woman from sex slavery and becomes smitten with her. She begins to recognize that he is cruel and has many insecurities, kind of like Colin Farrell's Penguin in this. So it's a good representation of the Penguin.
And Catwoman, Selena Kyle's girlfriend was right. She was like a victim of sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm. So, and then Batman
Annie,
Zero Year.
Every time they called her name in the movie Annie, it made me think of Phantom Menace, though. Annie.
Batman Zero Year, for what I pointed out, really, it's a Gotham. It's a young Batman story, the beginning of his career, very Riddler centric, very Jim Gordon centric. It's very, very good reading, and a lot of it ties into this movie.
Hey, Corbin, did you say the other Tales one doesn't have the whole ego story?
No, it does. It does. I'm just saying. You said you better not regret it. You won't regret Batman Ego. I said your mileage may vary on his other stories. Like there's another like story in that volume that's like a large Catwoman story. I wasn't a big fan of it. It was okay.
This one says book 1 of 2.
For what?
Let me just make sure I'm buying the right shit here.
Yeah, Batman Ego is a one shot. It's one tale. I don't remember there being a part 2.
If only there was somebody who owned a comic shop that could order that for you.
Ish, can you just get it for me?
I don't even have to fucking order it. I've got 2 copies of Ego sitting on the shelf right now.
I got 2 copies far from me. Halloween. Your store's far. Where's your store at? Scottsdale, right?
If you own a car, it's not far.
I do, but it's an hour and a half away from me.
Well, where do you live?
Santan Valley.
Where I'm at right now. I love it. I'm kidding.
Hey, we got people. I got regulars who drive.
No, I think I could get it next week. I think I could come get it next week.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, because it's just a one shot, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy it on Amazon. Ish owns a fucking comic book store. I feel like a dick.
Right in front of the man.
Fuck Amazon.
Shopping at my store.
Right.
I was gonna ask you guys.
Now I feel like a dick.
Anybody read some of the new Batman stuff that's come out? Like Killing Time came out this Tuesday.
I'm not. I'm actually gonna, like I said, I need to go do some comic hunting tomorrow.
Or
I've not read.
Keep talking. I'm doing
One Dark Knight,
right
Batman
now.
One Dark Knight. It was the Black Label Prestige format, and that reminded me of the book we were just looking at, because that story is the power goes out in Gotham, and Batman through an EMP, and I think that's the villain's name is the EMP, and then Batman has to deal with that.
I'm about to open this box. What do you think it is?
A Pops.
No, but what pop, you fucking assholes?
Batman Pops.
Yeah.
It's not Batman Pops.
Well, the Penguin Pops. Matt Reeves Pops.
Gummy Bears Pops.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, I would never have gotten that. That's
awesome.
cool. That's cool.
Corbin, fuck that shit. Oh, that's
yeah. I was mad. Like, don't let me guess something I can't get. No, I'm playing.
This is our first unboxing, guys. So
there you go. Good job.
Corbin, are you reading Detective Comics right now?
I have been. I wasn't a big fan of that whole
Shadows of the Bat.
Not the Shadows of the Bat. That good?
It's been all right. You know what? There was something about the aesthetic in that comic that reminded me of the Batman.
Okay.
Oh, you just opened it. It's fucking worthless now, Lance.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I bought it for the T-shirt.
It's been the main title in Detective for me that I've been on consistently. I'm really trying to widen my comic reach to more. You hear about DC? I know. I'm surprised you talk about it, Matt. DC's offices. Did you hear
that they're disbanding or whatever?
Basically.
What do you mean?
All, like,
I think a merger's going to happen.
They've moved their office from New York to the Warner Brother lot in Hollywood.
Well, now they moved it from that.
That was already like a big red flag. Like,
yeah.
Wait, DC moved from New York to California?
Well, a couple years ago. But now they have it so that it's no longer like their own building. It's a hot desk shared workspace. So like, not all the people be at the office at the same time. So the desks are just desk spaces. And it's not a personalized area, which usually doesn't speak to continuity.
Treating DC
is that because of COVID, or is that just?
No, that's because DC being that happened this past week.
Well, it's no secret that AT&T has been shopping DC. They're trying to sell them, but
they're chopping everything.
The whole Warner Brothers,
everything they have.
Yeah, there was a rumor that Discovery may buy it, which I don't know about all that, but that they may merge HBO Max and Discovery. Like
Yep.
Discovery may purchase the
That's
whole
actually a
thing.
pretty legit rumor.
But I don't know if I want Discovery's hands on what happens with DC characters.
I think they should sell it to Marvel.
Like, I don't want
What
the
if we had
Property
a
Brothers.
90
I don't want the
day
Property
Beyonce,
Brothers
but
being
it's all
cast as.
superheroes?
That'd be awesome. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Or it's all villains, right? It's all dysfunctional villains trying to get
Married
like,
at First Sight, and it's all like
Filipino
B-list
girlfriends.
characters. Yeah,
The Property Brothers
watch it.
have to rebuild Wayne Manor or whatever.
there you go.
MODOK travels to like Mongolia to find his bride.
Love it or list it in Gotham City. Yeah,
Dude, he's fucking adorable. Look at him. It's the best part of the
Oh.
movie.
All right, guys. Whew, this
Or
has
love,
been...
love After Arkham Lockup.
there you go. There you go.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
It's a good one to end it.
I'm gonna
I'm
go.
surprised
Yeah,
Amazon's not making a play. They just bought MGM. You don't think they make a play for Warner Brothers? That would be
They're
huge for
dealing with
Amazon.
they're focused on the NFL right now. They don't give a shit about
true.
comics
or Apple.
Wait, what do you mean? Amazon is trying to buy the NFL?
No, they're
No,
making a
they're-
play for the streaming rights and the like TV.
They already
rights
got
for the
Thursdays.
NFL.
Wow.
They already got Thursdays. Dude, if they got exclusive streaming rights, well, at least took it from DirecTV because whole thing sucks. That'd be awesome. I could cancel my TV subscription.
I just want it to be I wish it would be. I wish that Sunday ticket was a la carte, but it's neither here nor there. Wrapping up tonight, I want to thank Corbin for coming back and joining us in a spirited debate about Batman.
That was
Jesus
fun, y'all.
Christ, did that
Guess
tier,
who's back?
that,
Guess
that
who's
tier
back?
ranking go sideways? But
It was fun with
awesome.
y'all.
It was
Appreciate it.
spirited, for sure.
What
Real
was our
quick,
final rankings? Did we ever kind of?
Probably best not to revisit. No, I'm playing.
Talk about the tier thing. That's just going to open a whole can of worms. If you're interested in the rankings, go watch it on the playback.
yeah.
We're going to get in a whole nother hour conversation of. We all forgot what they were, and then we're going to start.
Basically, the only
debating it
tier
again.
list is the Dark Knight and fucking the Batman. So it's the S's. So,
Those are the top two.
but before we go, I didn't realize the amount of wrestling fans we have in this community, and I want to get your thoughts real quick, Ish, on the announcement.
Well, that's it for me, guys. No, just kidding.
See you later. That Tony Khan AEW buying Ring of Honor.
I have no opinion. I don't watch AEW.
You don't watch AEW? Oh,
I
it's so
don't.
good.
I've tried to, and it's just I don't know. It's not as fun as WWE.
Well, I hear
Just don't- I
WWE's
don't
not
get
as
as a
fun as
big kick out of
WWE
it.
anymore.
The stuff
is
going
still
on right now
fun.
between Punk and MJF is some of the best stuff in wrestling right now.
What I got tired of, and it might be different now, but every AEW started with CM Punk coming out, running around. They played the song, everyone sings the song, and then he went and sat at a table. And it was like episode after episode. I'm like,
Yeah,
they're
that's
just-
pretty much
they're just
that's pretty much
exploiting him,
stopped.
getting
Yeah.
me to watch because it's CM Punk, and then he doesn't even wrestle. Like
That's
I was
pretty
like,
much
nah.
stopped. But dang, I thought you're gonna have more info or importance on that. So
I'm sorry, not on that. WrestleMania is coming up in a month.
yeah, are
We
you
had
excited for
Elimination
WrestleMania?
Chamber 2 weeks ago. I mean, the craziness right now with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And they're really hyping that
dude,
up.
I met Brock Lesnar when he was first starting out, like when it was his first run in WWE in Grand Rapids, Michigan, at a bar, and little Matt asked him for his autograph. He was such a prick, dude. He was such
Really?
a prick. But he seems like he seems like he's like, I don't know, gotten over that, and he seems like such a cool guy. Like I watched him on the Pat McAfee podcast a few days ago, and he just seems like such a cool guy now. But like he was such a prick. I got his
We're
autograph.
not supposed to be
and he's like,
promoting
whatever.
other podcasts on our
Well,
podcast,
you know, but
unless those podcast people appear on our podcast.
that could very much be him trying to keep character. But
Actually, I heard a recent story on a hockey podcast, and they're saying it was in Atlanta at the TNT thing, and then at a hotel event afterwards. And Brock Lesnar walked into the lounge wearing a cowboy hat. Nobody in the room recognized him except for Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne Gretzky jumped up and went, "That's Brock Lesnar," and then they became best friends right away.
How do you not recognize a building walking into another building?
Like, yeah, that's crazy.
That's like The Rock coming in, like he wears a mustache and like a hat, and you're like, oh, that's the fucking Rock.
Matt, do you watch NXT at all?
no, I haven't really watched NXT since it went
Braun
2.0.
Breaker, I think, is the next big thing.
Scott Steiner's kid.
Yeah, Rick Steiner's
no.
kid. Yeah,
Rick Steiner's kid. Yeah.
yeah. And he's doing it all the right way, you know. And of course, he's a baby face, but he's doing it very honorably. And his fights are tremendous. I think he has a big future.
I say give AEW another shot. I think it's.
I don't know if I have time though. WWE is friggin' 7 hours a week. WWE.
Yeah, I watch it on fast
forward. Your mom tries to make me watch every last minute of it. She's a huge wrestling fan.
Oh yeah, I watch it. See, I've come to take into watching Raw and SmackDown on fast forward. That's how I watch.
That's what I kind of do. I'm like, do I really want to watch this fight? These two dudes? No, I just fast forward.
So I want to watch the same wrestling match over week after week after week because they're not giving anybody new. But
there's been some. There was a week ago. It was, I don't know if you know Tommaso Ciampa.
Yep.
And he took on Dolph Ziggler. And it was amazing. And these two guys, these are guys that appreciate their craft and will give the utmost effort to make sure it didn't look fake, that every hit looked real. Like they put so much effort and energy, and it was a tremendous fight. It went on for like 25 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm not fast forwarding this. That was a great fight.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler is the master at losing. Nobody loses like Dolph Ziggler. I don't think that guy's won a match in 15 years. That's his job. Just he goes out there and makes everyone else look good.
He's a jobber.
So
he's
good at
he's there to put you over. But all right, guys, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. Again, thank you so much for Corbin filling in. Thank you for Jay jumping in at the beginning. Ish, thank you.
Jay was here?
Yeah, he was here for a little bit at the beginning. I had to scramble, dude. With Max bailing on me last minute, I had to scramble for people. So
no, you did good, man. I thought that you were on here just with Corbin. I was like, oh, that's a bad show, so I came on.
No, me and Corbin were holding it down, and then Ish came in.
You did all right. Thank you.
Yeah, if I knew Ish was here holding down the fort, I didn't need to come on. But yeah, Corbin and Matt, that's a shit show, man. No,
Ish came in and lit a fire. So, dude, that's exactly how it happened. Me and Corbin were holding it down. Ish came in and lit the fire right off the bat by saying, we're gonna have different opinions on this whole Batman tier list. And then here comes fucking Lance just dousing the gas and the fire. So that's exactly how it happened.
You start saying Batman, you start saying Dark Knight is B or C or whatever the fuck Corbin said, and there's gonna be gasoline.
The minute Lance goes and says, "Listen, if I can't walk outside and see Batman in my front lawn, it's not a superhero movie for
that
me."
That is not what I said.
You lost me there, buddy.
That's not what I said. I'm just saying this is a superhero movie as much as Taken is a superhero movie. Okay?
Oh man!
Okay, we can't even get into this conversation again.
No, I was saying, dude, I'm going another hour. All right, y'all.
Why can't Batman be real?
Don't fucking start, dude.
No,
I want to know
why Batman can't be real.
Why do you think Batman can be real?
Can be real?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that the stuff.
All you freaks and geeks.
Fuckers.
Come all you freaks and geeks. Let's listen to Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks.
Spread the cheeks.
And drink some Cosby wine.
We'll drink some Cosby wine. It makes me feel real fine.